is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 30 today with the 6 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Start the new year right with Physio Extra Pilates and group exercise classes. Book at physioextra.com.
It's been a long night for the CFS south of the city. A bushfire on the Fleurieu Peninsula is burning out of control. A watch and act is in effect for Tuparang, Nankita, Mount Jagged and Mosquito Hill, about 10 k's east of Mount Compass. The fire was reported just before 5 last night. This local has told 7 it was a close call for him.
Very, very lucky. It just missed my property by probably 200 odd metres each side. So it could have been a lot worse. We're lucky that, there's absolutely no wind right now.
But it's understood one house has been lost. The stage is set for a special sitting of Parliament as 2 new opinion polls show support for the Albanese government is waning. Michael Packy reports from Canberra.
Politicians are back in the national capital to offer their official condolences to the victims of the Bondi Beach terrorist attack. The government will also introduce its revised hate speech laws and strengthen gun regulations. The latest Resolve and News poll have both found voters are punishing Labor and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese for the way he's handled the matter, with opposition leader Susan Lee now closing the gap as preferred PM. But both Labor and the Coalition are losing core votes to One Nation, with people inherently unhappy with the 2 major parties.
A child is fighting for life after being mauled by a shark at a popular beach in Sydney's eastern suburbs. More from Carolee Katsambanis.
Witnesses say the 13-year-old boy was jumping off rocks with a group of friends when the shark mauled him, leaving him with serious leg injuries. Emergency services attended Hermitage Foreshore Walk, also known as Shark Beach, after 000 calls that a boy had been attacked before he was airlifted to Sydney's Children's Hospital. The beach remains closed, the rock ledge roped off. The search for the shark continues. Swimmers are advised not to enter nearby waters.
Donald Trump says tariffs will be imposed on goods from European nations until a deal is done to sell Greenland to the US. Jonathan Kersley explains.
President Trump made it clear he is more serious than ever about acquiring the Danish territory of Greenland, posting to Truth Social that there would be tariffs of 10% slapped on countries, including Denmark, the United Kingdom, France, Germany and Finland from February the 1st. Those tariffs will increase to 25% in June and stay until he says a deal is done on Greenland. The announcement has put him on a collision course with NATO allies, European leaders condemning the announcement.
The waiting game continues for the Botanic Gardens corpse flower to bloom. It's situated in the Bicentennial Conservatory. Plenty of interest prompting a live stream to be set up. And the wraps have come off the cast for this year's local version of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Among those going into the jungle last night, Barry Williams, who played Greg on the Brady Bunch, former supermodel Rachel Hunter and Gary Sweet. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
It's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Carlos Alcaraz says it was unexpected how well Adam Walton played in their opening round match at the Australian Open. The world number 1 eventually defeated Walton 6-3, 7-6, 6-2. Alcaraz says he's happy with how he played, but still has some work to do.
To be honest, I was ready for a good battle, but at the same time a little bit unexpected for me. The level he plays, so I had to manage myself to be ready for that battle, and just happy with the first match of the season.
Talia Gibson, the only one of 4 Aussies to win her first round match on day 1 at Melbourne Park. Jason Kubler and Tristan Schoolkate have been knocked out. Alex de Minaur, he will begin his campaign a little later today. Well, the Adelaide 36ers have gone down to the southeast Melbourne Phoenix by 19 points in their NBL clash in Perth as the Hoops Fest wrapped up. The Sixers are still 2 games clear at the top of the table, but they've got a difficult road trip on Friday night against New Zealand. The Sydney Sixers in the cricket are into the Big Bash finals after securing a 5-wicket win against the Brisbane Heat. The result means the Sixers jump up to second and will now face the Perth Scorchers for a spot in the final tomorrow night, while the Heat missed out. The Adelaide Strikers missed finals altogether and were back in 6th spot. And a couple of games in the English Premier League overnight. Everton upsetting Aston Villa 1-0, while Wolverhampton and Newcastle played out a 0-0 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
With lots of CMAX trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
Mostly sunny today and a top of 30. Cloud clearing tomorrow, 30. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 28 and 27 on Thursday. Right now, it's 25 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
It's hard to trust someone with your property when they've never even set foot in it. Keep your property clean, safe and running smoothly with a local. Servicing SA Cleaning and Facility Solutions are a homegrown South Aussie business across a full range of facility services, from cleaning to maintenance, from pest control to security. Servicing SA has your commercial, retail or community facility covered. Affordable, reliable and 100% local. That's Servicing SA. Find out more at servicingsa.com.au.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Head to the Excelsior Hotel every Thursday and get $10 off steaks. The Excelsior Hotel, 110 Colgan Street, Brompton. Feels like coming home, but better.
The world's greatest cycling names are racing head-to-head around South Australia's regions at the Santos Tour Down Under on until this Sunday.
That's right. Today, riders take on the final stage of the women's race. The Hyundai Women's Stage 3 will see riders race from Norwood through 2 ascents of infamous Corkscrew Road to Campbelltown.
Oh, yes. This final day of racing calls for nothing less than full gas. They have gas in the bikes. See who wins the first race of the UCI World Tour season on the big screen at the City of Adelaide Tour Village in Victoria Square.
That's right. With free entry, the City of Adelaide Tour Village features entertainment, food and drink vendors, live-streamed races on the big screen and ample shade. Visit the website tourdownunder.com.au for more information.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Live from Hindmarsh Square, it's 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodies.
And a very good morning to you. Wonderful to be back. 8 minutes after 6. And as always, a big morning ahead on 5AA Breakfast. Very shortly, the latest on the fires at Mount Compass. Aidan Nelson's at the scene, reporting for 7 Sunrise this morning, so we'll get the latest there. After 6:30, big announcement on the campaign trail by the state government yesterday with regard to support for people from our regions wanting to get into the city to get specialist care. We know it's been an issue. How much does this new policy go towards solving it? We'll find out from someone directly affected. Fires in the focus as well with here in the metropolitan area with that big fire at Croydon yesterday. People in the area would have seen it. I'm sure we had a lot of listeners that would have seen the damage to 2 businesses there. The chief of the MFS will be on the program before 7 o'clock. And then over the course of the morning, the Premier will be on the program. The Leader of the Opposition, Ashton Hearn, is going to be on the show as well. Stacey Lee back on deck for 2026. We'll have her in at after 7:30. Lots to talk about. But before we do, it's a big good morning and a welcome back to a man who was once booed at Adelaide Writers' Festival. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. I would have been happy to head along again this year and be booed again.
I think never has a boo aged so well.
Well, I think wear it as a badge of honour.
People would live in fear now of going, hey, well, you got a standing ovation at Writers' Week, didn't you? No, wasn't me.
I went down all right last year. That was good fun with Joe Aston. But I did about 3 sessions at Writers' Week. I did one. I interviewed Bob Carr, the former New South Wales Premier, a few years back when his memoir came out. I interviewed Joe Aston, the author of the book about Alan Joyce and the Chairman's Lounge. The one where I got booed was bizarre. It was this panel of authors who'd written books about drugs. I think some of the people in the crowd, I don't say this flippantly, I say it seriously. I think the guy who booed me and asked me a question was actually on drugs at the time.
Well, I think
he was on a South American hallucinogen.
You have to do this
based
sort of
on his question.
I can only imagine. It would have been standard. You have to do this sort of weird mental gymnastics when talking about issues at the Writers' Week because you go, you were talking on a panel about drugs. Well, I imagine that's weird because you are anti-drugs. And then I remembered, oh no, that crowd being sort of anti-drugs and maybe people should go to jail for being on them probably is considered a controversial opinion.
Well, I think the Authors' Week crowd, though, I mean, you could, looks a little bit like, what's the old Spike Milligan line about Woy? Australia's only above-ground cemetery. I think the average age of people at Writers' Week is about 83. You know, but most of them are just people who get along because they like reading, they like books. And I've got to say, I think historically it's been a great event. I just think it's a pity that Louise Adler has blown it up herself. And, you know, we'll get into it more later on. I think it's at the point where a lot of people their eyes are starting to glaze over with it, although there's one element to it that we're going to flesh out today in Breaking It 8 that I think they'll be particularly interested in. But what a complete indulgence it's been, though, for Australia's so-called intelligentsia. Like, I just think there's been this sort of I stand with Randa, deliberate attempt to avoid having a really serious and important discussion about the content of what she has actually said and how that drifts from being a question of free speech into hate speech. Like, let's forget about the actual words that she's used, because you can really plough deeply into that. She's provided us with plenty of material. On what planet, though, does anyone change their avatar, change their social media settings on the very night of October 7 to an image of a parachuter with a Palestinian flag behind it at the same time that Palestinians acting on behalf of Hamas are parachuting into Israel to kill teenagers at rock festivals and old people working in kibbutzes? Now, her explanation for that is, I didn't know the death toll at the time. Pigs, but you didn't, because it was being broadcast in real time around the world.
And she is interested in the area, as it's turned out. She tends to read the articles and things. Maybe not.
You know, all the publishers, all the bookstore owners, all the authors, and they're like the sort of sad left sort of sideshow carnies who travel Australia searching for taxpayer-funded writers' festivals to speak at. You know, they don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about the broader principle. Now, let's talk about the specifics. Don't you reckon?
Absolutely.
I knew we'd totally agree on this.
We'll be talking about it over the course of the morning.
Will and I haven't spoken to each other at all for 5 weeks. How you going, mate?
I'm good. It's good to talk to you. It's good to have you back. We start the program every Monday morning, you may recall, with the weekend wins. If you've got a win for us, folk, the weekend, 8223 000. Should we extend it out for this one, given it's our first of the year? Maybe if you've had a win over the break. Our break, while we haven't been here, let us know what it was.
Can I do your weekend win on your behalf, Will?
Please.
Will's actually browner than me. Oh, Will has thrown down the pigmentation challenge.
I'm disappointed in how
the light's not working.
The light in the live stream makes me look translucent.
Yeah, it's bouncing off your face.
I almost look like I've passed and I'm doing this from another room. Oh, there we go. We just dimmed it a little bit. Yeah, I thought I was going to give you a run for your money coming in this morning, but it doesn't.
Have you been in some tropical clime?
It was in Southeast Asia, a bit of time in Malaysia,
beautiful.
A bit of time in Singapore. Yeah, it was magnificent.
Which part of Malaysia?
Langkawi.
Oh,
little
nice.
island. Yeah, it's beautiful. Drove around, took mum and dad, had a wonderful time. You know what my win was?
I was in an exotic coastal setting. It's called Aldinga.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, Aldinga.
How is your local government campaign going? Has that started?
Well, so I've got one eye on September.
Okay.
Starting to put a team of advisors together at the front bar of the Aldinga Hotel.
8223 000 is the number. We'd love to hear your weekend win, or it could be your summer break win. Let us know, and we will start the year in the traditional style with our wonderful weekend wins. You can text us too. Lots of terrific texts coming through on 0248 08 1395.
A lot of nice welcome back messages. One here from Colleen saying she liked my article yesterday. Thank you, Colleen. Jackie says, simply, the boys are back in town, channeling her inner Thin Lizzy. What a song that was. So poor old Phil Lynott. Geez, he wrote a few checks. His body couldn't cash that guy. Sadly taken too young. Mark in Para Hills, climbing straight into world affairs headlong at 6:05 a.m. He texted through saying, so Trump wants to put tariffs on countries who object about Greenland. These are bully boy tactics. What a story that is, eh?
That is. I remember last year we had a conversation at one point in time. Can you write a headline that you wouldn't believe about Donald Trump? And the Greenland one fits the bill, I think. Threatening NATO members. Well, he's not threatened now. He's actually visited tariffs on them, who they themselves have moved soldiers to Denmark, to Denmark's territory in Greenland. It's just extraordinary. Another credibility hit for the FIFA Peace Prize, isn't it?
Well, I know.
It's reeling the FIFA Peace Prize. I'll never believe it again.
I know.
There you go.
Today I am a guest worker. That was what Infantino said, wasn't it?
Among other things he identified as.
That's right. But don't you think, though, that the world continues to misread Donald Trump. I'd scream every time you hear a journo say, "Think about Donald Trump, he's so unpredictable." No, he's not. Trump says things that are so crazy nobody thinks they're true, and then he does them. Like, he was blowing up Venezuelan drug boats for months. People were saying, "Oh, well, nobody saw this coming." Then he goes in and kidnaps Maduro, which I personally thought was quite a good thing, Maduro being a card-carrying scumbag. But the idea that it was surprising, he's been talking about it for ages. Just nobody believes him.
Well, the thing that's surprising is...
He does what he says.
He's fallen victim of something that many past US presidents have, and that is the temptation. A bit like cricketers find this out. When you're out in the middle with a bat, it's good to say you're going to leave all the balls, but every now and then you just got to swing at one outside off. He said he's going to be the Jeff Boycott of US presidents. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm only playing through the V, to extend the cricketing analogy, and we're not doing anything outside of the US. Oh, no, but there's that nice juicy Iran full toss that's just coming. Venezuela.
Yeah.
Greenland. Greenland's on the half volley. I didn't have a crack at that.
Right.
It's hard to.
He's basballing.
You got the biggest stick in the world. It's hard not to swing it. 16 after 6, we'll take a break. Get your weekend wins coming in. We'll be back in a sec.
The Cherry Plate Clearance Sale is now on. From January 1st to 31st, don't miss this chance to drive away with incredible deals on selected Cherry vehicles. Hurry, these deals won't last, so visit your Cherry dealer today. Cherry, for the road ahead.
The Diary of a CEO keeps going where other conversations stop and keeps asking the hard questions worth answering. Keep good company with the Diary of a CEO podcast.
Get saving now with City Discount Tyres. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttyres.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tyres. We're driven by value.
How would you like to win a ducted reverse cycle air conditioning unit this summer? Thanks to 1,5 Adelaide and Actron Air, you could. Come to our big showroom event on February 7th with free merch, food, drinks, special guests, plus one winner will take home a brand new ducted AC system. Register now at 1comma5.com/au/Actron. That's 1comma5.com/au/Actron. T's and C's apply.
You don't just do a good barbie, you're the Tong Master. You're not just flipping snags, you've earned the title Backyard Hospitality Director. So you deserve the very best outdoor kitchen from Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens.
Choose from the best appliances at a bar fridge or a pizza oven, or stun your guests with one of their custom-made concrete bench tops. They do indoor concrete bench tops too. These handmade bench tops can really update any kitchen space. Custom made for you, every piece unique, especially for you.
A call for a consultation and quote today or visit the Seaford Meadows showroom on Farrow Circuit. The best backyard hospitality directors choose Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens. Go to adelaideoutdoorkitchens.com.au.
Planning your next holiday? The local travel experts at Spark Travel are just a phone call away. Reach out today for a chat and let's start planning your holiday together. Spark Travel, where the journey begins with a conversation. sparktravel.com.au.
From the creators of the hit show 27 Club comes 2016, premiering this Adelaide Fringe. With music from David Bowie, Prince, Leonard Cohen, George Michael and more, this electric live show reclaims the year that legends were lost and history was made. With iconic songs brought to life by an all-star band featuring Dusty Lee Stevenson, Jaron J and Kylie Aldis from the Bamboos. 2016 at the Fantail Gluttony, Feb 19 to March 9. Tickets are selling fast, so get yours now at adelaidefringe.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
19 minutes after 6, concerns for residents around Mount Compass overnight with the CFS issuing a watch and act message. Hayden Nelson for 7 News is at the scene reporting for Sunrise this morning. Hayden, good morning to you, mate, and bring us up to speed with what's happening at Mount Compass.
Yeah, morning, David. Morning, Will. So the latest watch and act alert has been put out by the CFS this morning for a prepare to leave message for people in Tuparang, Nankita, Mosquito Hill, and basically people who would have seen this fire last night and evacuated because it's a 450-hectare fire. That's what authorities have been telling us. It broke out about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and within minutes, it gave you an idea about how extremely quickly a fire like this can take hold because it had spread hectares and hectares. Locals said it started on a roadside, but it has spread well through the pine forest, well through gum trees, which, as you know, just fill up with flames and then explode from the inside. And it's caused really a lot of damage, and there's a lot of blackened earth out there at the moment where this fire has gone through last night. We do know one property has been destroyed, and understanding is that's a stable. There are lots of little structures, the CFS calls them, so little sheds. A couple I spoke to, they had a stable that was just filled with the brand new mower that he got for Christmas. That's been destroyed. So not only is there a lot of bushland, as I said, 450 hectares that this fire has gone through last night, there is also people's pride and joy, things like that have gone up in flames. And as I said, when this fire broke out about 4:30 yesterday, and about 100 or so people who made their way to the Mount Compass Hotel, just wanting to make their way out quickly, thinking this is the safest place we could be up near the footy oval here. But many of those people had horses and they've just had to let them free because this fire came through with such a ferocity and such a pace. They saw the warnings and thought, right, we've got to do something, follow our bushfire plan. But in that case, this morning going up and trying to round up horses and round up livestock and try and account for their belongings as well.
Yeah, it's actually quite densely populated around the Mount Compass area. It sounds like it's all in sort of farmland at the moment, Hayden, but it wouldn't take much for it to get close to areas where there's a lot of people living.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And we were here last night, sort of well into the evening, where the CFS and an army of locals with their firefighting equipment on the back of their utes, the water tanks, is actually incredible to witness, to see how closely they work together to defend properties. That was the main concern for crews when they arrived yesterday, was to make sure homes were defended. So in some cases, the flames were within a metre of a front door. But thanks to the efforts of not only the CFS and the local farm firefighters, they call them, but also the water bombers who were quickly getting to these houses, dousing them with water to make sure they were protected, that it is, as you say, a fairly densely populated area, that those homes were saved. So at this stage, we're only unaware of one home that has been destroyed, but, really, there may well be more, but from what we can tell, they've saved a lot. And really, given the speed of those warnings coming out, of the movement of those bombers, of the movement of the firefighters to get those warnings out, and police who were extraordinary yesterday, there are no injuries that we're aware of. No one's been killed. No one's been left trapped, anything like that we've been aware of, because of the sheer efforts of authorities and locals last night.
Great stuff, Hayden. As always, Hayden Nelson for 7 News, Adelaide and Sunrise.
It has been a warm night overnight as well. It's still 25.9 degrees outside in the city. Just a smidge cooler than Darwin this morning, but it is hot. Heading for another warm day, top of 30 today. Not as warm as it was yesterday, though. That was cooking. Tomorrow, 30 with cloud clearing, 28 mostly sunny on Wednesday, 27 on Thursday, 31 on Friday, 33 Saturday, and 30 on Sunday. No rain forecast, and every day either in the high 20s or in the low 30s. The good news, I guess, is nothing heat wavy on the way for this week as well. It's going to be quite livable. Weekend wins. We got a text on the text line, 0448 08 1395 from Sam in Salisbury, who went and saw the smelly plant in the Botanic Gardens. Now, this is the one that flowers once a year. And
it's Indonesian, isn't it?
It's putrid. How bad? Sam, you need to call us.
Corpse flower, isn't it?
Yeah, you need to call us, Sam, and tell us, how bad does this thing smell? If you're legendary in the plant world for smelling bad, how bad is it? Someone needs, if you've been along, come and tell us.
It's like a flesh-eating plant, isn't it? Like it eats insects. So
it's rotting.
It's like a giant bromeliad that catches insects in its cavity, in its central cavity, and they just rot, and it sort of sucks all the nutrients out of that, I think.
If you've been along, we want a review of the smelly plant. There's got to be a better way, isn't there? There's other plants who just sort of,
Yeah.
Well, they rub up against a B and they look beautiful.
That's right. Exactly.
You haven't won the lottery of life if you end up as one of them. 25 after 6. Let's go international. Rob Scott is at the Channel 7 US Bureau. Rob, good morning to you. I guess to people that had wondered how serious Donald Trump was about taking Greenland, sanctions against NATO allies would seem to suggest he's deadly serious. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Yes, the rhetoric around Greenland certainly ramping up. Donald Trump now threatening 8 European countries, including the UK, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and a few others, with tariffs starting next month at 10%, ramping up to 25% in June if they don't get on board with his plan to acquire Greenland, which he says that the United States needs for national security. And so this has prompted a outrage, really, from NATO allies and from the EU itself. They've been having some emergency meetings today to discuss how to respond to these latest threats from Donald Trump. There's a couple of options on the table, and they are pretty serious. One would be to freeze the trade deal that the EU struck with the US last year. The other is using the so-called trade bazooka, and that's the EU's anti-coercion instrument, which incidentally has never been used before. That essentially involves slapping the United States, its service providers, its companies with a series of very wide-ranging financial and trade limitations of its own. And that could end up being it could spark an all-out trade war. So things certainly heating up around Greenland at the moment.
Good stuff, Rob. Rob Scott there for Channel 7 in the US Bureau on Trump and Greenland.
27 minutes after 6. Tom Wren will be in very, very shortly to join us and wrap the weekend in sport. We'll be talking more about some of the fallout from that story in the United States as well.
Big summer of sport. The death of Bazball. Died at the Adelaide Oval, didn't it?
Do we need to do a retrospective on how alive Bazball ever really actually was?
Well, yeah, good question. Good question.
I think it had a good tag and some good PR, but I'm not sure the level of success it has matched the sort of hype around it. Tom Wren will know better than anyone. He joins us now. After a long summer without you, Rennie, it's good to have you back. Good morning.
Well, it's likewise. Likewise, boys. Very good to have you back here.
Great to see you, mate.
Yeah, good to see you looking nice and fresh and relaxed and tanned. And, it's good to see you. Great question. Bazball, did it work? I think Bazball's been amazing for players like Joe Root, for Ben Stokes, Mark Wood at times. I think players that are naturally attacking, I think it was sensational. For other players, Ben Duckett,
Ollie Pope,
I think it's been a total disaster. And I think it probably shows that it's good for some, but it's not good for all. One size doesn't fit all. So I think that's my biggest sort of learning from it all.
Don't you think too, though, the hype surrounding it, when you've got Travis Head and Alex Carey playing the way they do, but Head in particular. I mean, how can the English keep whacking on about Bazball when you've got Travis Head playing innings like the one that he did in Perth?
It was amazing, wasn't it? I mean, it was a phenomenal series, and for Australia,
going back like Gilchrist,
Yeah.
Ranatunga. Like, there's a lot of other players. Viv Richards, you know, like, it's not like they invented this.
I think probably the thing with England was it probably became a bit of a cop-out in the end. I think they probably should have won the series talent-wise, man for man. I actually think they had us covered. But the problem was they used this Bazball, and it's almost like a bit of a pressure release. So if you get out playing a stupid shot, an irresponsible shot, it's just Bazball. That's the way you play. No, dig in. Show a bit of guts every now and then. So I think it was a bit of a cop-out in a way too. Disappointing for them. But look, in terms of the 3-2-1 for the series, Stark, I'm comfortable with him being on top. I reckon Trav was 2 votes if you're doing 3-2-1, and Alex Carey. They were the 3 for Australia by a mile.
Yeah, totally.
So the 2 SA boys did brilliantly.
How about your winners and losers out of the weekend, Rennie?
So winners and losers. Tennis. Look, the Australian Open's just started. Talia Gibson, great win for her yesterday. Adelaide International, they had record sales, so really good. Mira Andreeva, keep an eye on her. She's going to win multiple Grand Slams. She won it here, and Thomas Mahach won on the men's side. Adelaide United, Will, I'm sure you would have seen. That was an amazing last minute or two. So victory score, they think they win 2-1. Disallowed, bit controversial. And then Adelaide go down in the 97th minute and score. That was phenomenal. So United, big winners. And the losers, 36ers. They've been up for a long time, but I've had a look at their run home. They've got 4 matches on the road of their last 5. So they probably need to win 2 or 3 more to get top. I think they'll do it, but bit of a tough run coming home.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 30 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Getting fit, your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at FIVEAA Extra. 6 locations.
A bushfire on the Fleurieu Peninsula is still burning out of control more than 12 hours after it started. A watch and act is in effect for Tuparang, Nankita, Mount Jagged and Mosquito Hill, around 10 k's east of Mount Compass. Hayden Nelson from 7 News says property was a top priority for crews as the fire took hold last night.
To make sure homes were defended, so in some cases the flames were within a metre of a front door, but thanks to the efforts of not only the CFS and the local farm firefighters, they call them, but also the water bombers who were quickly getting to these houses, dousing them with water to make sure they were protected.
Federal politicians are back in Canberra for a special 2-day sitting of Parliament to debate hate speech and gun laws. The first order of the day will see MPs offer their official condolences to the 15 victims of the Bondi Beach terror attack. Parliament will then examine legislation that would ban hate groups and preachers who express anti-Semitic views. One Nation has moved ahead of the coalition in the latest polls. Newspoll shows core support for the Pauline Hanson-led party is up 7 points and now sits at 22%. The coalition sitting at a record low of 21. Barnaby Joyce recently defected to One Nation but denies that's led to the surge in support.
No, but I'm not surprised. Everywhere I go, quite frankly, I get overwhelmed with the support that One Nation is getting. I think it's even stronger in regional areas.
There are calls for the European Union to deploy its anti-coercion tool against the US if Donald Trump's tariff threats become a reality. Europe correspondent Hannah Sinclair has more.
The tool, dubbed the bloc's trade bazooka, has never been used before, but is designed to shield against foreign economic blackmail and would allow the EU to retaliate by placing wide-ranging trade and investment restrictions on America. Trump is threatening 10% tariffs on 8 European countries from February 1 unless Denmark agrees to sell Greenland. The 8 nations set to be targeted, issuing a joint statement saying they're committed to strengthening Arctic security and stand in solidarity with Denmark and the people of Greenland, but that tariff threats undermine transatlantic relations and risk a dangerous downward spiral. The Danish Prime Minister says the kingdom's receiving great support and that Europe will not be blackmailed.
The Pedestrian Council has joined growing calls for e-bikes to be subject to registration and insurance rules. The council's Harold Scrooby says e-bikes are just motorcycles in disguise.
Number 1, they must have a driver's licence. Number 2, they must have registration. 3, comprehensive insurance. 4, no riding on footpaths. These e-bikes, these fat bikes, are too dangerous to have on footpaths.
1 in 5 Aussies has had a parcel lost or stolen in the past 12 months. The average value of a missing parcel coming in at $221. The increase in home deliveries has made unattended packages an easy target. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Carlos Alcaraz has overcome a resilient performance from Australian Adam Walton to reach the second round at the Oz Open. The world number 1 moved past Walton at 6-3, 7-6, 6-2 last night on Rod Laver Arena. Walton says playing someone like Alcaraz doesn't come around very often.
Has that extra venom on the short balls and on the balls that sit up a little bit more. I think, anytime he can get set on a forehand, he hits it at a different speed that I'm not used to. Just, obviously, I don't get that exposure week in, week out, and it's just really cool to have shared the court on Rod Laver with him.
World number 1, Aryna Sabalenka, also progressing. Venus Williams lost her match. At 45 years of age, Williams becomes the oldest player to compete in singles at the Australian Open. Let's get to cricket. Half-centuries from Steve Smith and Sam Curran have helped the Sydney Sixers over the line in their do-or-die match against the Brisbane Heat. That was at the Gabba overnight. With the winners securing the last place in the finals, the Sixers ran down the Heat's 171 at the Gabba with 5 wickets and 8 balls to spare. Jack Edwards hitting the winning runs as heard on Fox Cricket.
Jack Edwards, Allen to the D, and he finishes in style. Another 6 to finish for the Sixers. Sixers by name, Sixers by nature.
The Sixers will now play against the Scorchers in Perth in tomorrow night's qualifying match to see who goes through to the final. And in some soccer to finish, a couple of games in the English Premier League overnight. Everton upsetting Aston Villa 1-0 on the road, while Wolverhampton picked up a rare point in a 0-0 draw against Newcastle. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
With lots of CMAX trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
A top of 30 for your Monday, mostly sunny. Cloud clearing tomorrow, 30. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 28 and 27 on Thursday. Right now, it's 26 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Gliderol Garage Doors have been manufacturing and installing garage doors direct to South Australians for over 50 years. So, if the new year's got you thinking about freshening up your home, order a new Gliderol Garage Door with operator before the end of February and the operator is free. Safety, security and style. Built to last and made right here. Call 1300 799 177 for a free measure and quote or visit gliderol.com.au. Retail customers only, T's and C's apply.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Head to the Excelsior Hotel every Thursday and get $10 off steaks. The Excelsior Hotel, 110 Colgan Street, Brompton. Feels like coming home, but better.
Now, Australia Day is coming up and this year's seafood is taking over the Aussie celebration. Now, this is going to be great. So this Friday morning on 5AA, so thrilled to be back, especially because of this, we've got the one and only Ned McHenry coming in. He's bringing his freshest local catch straight into the 5AA kitchen, and I'm going to be right there with him cooking up a proper Aussie seafood feast. And you don't just have to listen. You can watch it all unfold on the 5AA live stream this Friday morning for an absolute seafood treat.
Every time you choose South Australian seafood, you're supporting local fishers, local businesses and local jobs, from the water to the market to the plate. So this Australia Day, buy the best, support local, buy SA Seafood and cook up a feast thanks to Brand SA.
I'm high! The Excelsior Hotel has always felt like home. And for seniors, it's always been great value with 20% discount on selected bistro meals. Yep, 20% off. Feeding the whole family? Bring them all Saturday or Sunday for live acoustic music from 5 p.m. And kids eat free. Some conditions apply. The Excelsior Hotel feels like home, but better. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
Hi, I'm Nick Chigwin from Physio Extra. We have 7 clinics across Adelaide and Victor Harbour. We've been advertising with 5AA for probably 6 or 7 years now, and certainly wouldn't have been involved for that long if I didn't feel that we were getting good results from it, and a great way to build our brand and get our Physio Extra name out around the listeners of Adelaide.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit 5AA.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link for more information.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 7. Police and weather coming up this half hour on the program. Also, we're going to talk Metropolitan Fire with the MFS Chief Officer, Jeff Swan, who in the Croydon area, Croydon Park was the actual scene, but in the western suburbs, you certainly saw a bit of smoke. Huge amount of damage to 2 businesses there. We'll get the latest from the MFS just before 7 o'clock. Then after 7, the Premier of South Australia, Peter Malinauskas, will join us with the state election now just a couple of months away. Ashton Hearn a little bit later in the morning. We might talk too about that extraordinary news poll overnight. I wonder if it's got Ashton worried at all, given it was the lowest federal vote for a major party in news polls history.
And for the first time ever, Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party, as you've been hearing in the news with Mel, has a bigger primary vote than the coalition. It's extraordinary.
It's quite remarkable. We will, I imagine, spend a bit of time talking about that as well over the course of the morning. Let's head to Currency Creek. Shane's on the line. Shane, you were right in the vicinity of that fire yesterday.
Yes. Wasn't a nice day yesterday, guys. Good morning. It was around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We headed into Galway just sort of head into the shops, and it happened so fast. I'd actually been checking the fire map quite regularly because it was one of those days that, there was strong wind, about 37, 38 degrees, and one of those days that you're on edge. And there was nothing to be concerned about. And then we stepped out of the shops at Galway and looked towards our place, and a gigantic plume of smoke. It's the worst thing you want to see. And, from that point, it was a very hectic afternoon, and we were thankfully, less than 10 k's away from the fire, but it was moving sort of slightly west away from our place. So thankfully, not in the line of it.
Well, that's good news, Shane. Hopefully the conditions don't deteriorate. Obviously, things down on the FIVEAA are pretty fraught at the moment. So fingers crossed that things stabilise. Thanks for calling in.
Stay safe. Good on you, Shane. Shane in Currency Creek. Yesterday, here in metropolitan Adelaide, a major announcement was made with regard to our regions, not fire-related, but health-related. $16 million will be committed by the Malinowskis Labor government, if re-elected, to expand the Patient Assistant Transport Scheme. Now, what that $16 million will do is mean that with Cancer Council SA, a new accommodation facility for up to 50 beds in the northern suburbs will be built, which means that people coming to a place, say the Lionel McEwen Hospital, will have somewhere to stay. And for our regional listeners, this is an all too familiar problem, getting specialist care or emergency medical care, having somewhere to stay whilst you're treating it, given the remarkable amount of travel you have to do just to get to where the treatment is administered. Alex Thomas is the founder of From Here to Healthcare and knows better than anyone the issues that people in our regions face with accessing healthcare. Alex, good morning. I guess at first blush, government's policy, $16 million. Is this a drop in the ocean, or is this going to help fix the problem?
Oh, look, it's a great question. Thanks so much for having me this morning. I think it's a welcome and overdue step, but it's still a Band-Aid over a broken system that forces rural families to leave home for care.
Well, that case study that you were talking about yesterday, Alex, involving Sarah, the woman who lives up in the Iron Triangle, and had been suffering from anxiety. Just the sheer logistics, the travel involved for her, monthly appointments in Adelaide, a GP in Jamestown, having to go to Whyalla. I mean, even something sounds frivolous in that context, but even something like the cost of petrol for getting around. These are big obstacles that city people don't have to deal with.
Well, that's right. So there's petrol, but there's also childcare, there's time off work. At one point, Sarah was in Adelaide getting treatment for 7 weeks. Now, I can't even imagine, as I'm sure lots of others can't, as a parent being away from your children for that period of time with no real option to see them because it's just too far away.
What does improving access then look like if it's not making accommodation better in metropolitan Adelaide? Is it developing regional hubs? Do you want more specialists actually based in a larger number of cities? What does the ideal solution look like?
The ideal solution is always going to be to establish more sustainable long-term services out in the regions. But I guess in the interim, while we're looking at a scheme like PATS, like this travel subsidy, if we can expand the cumulative travel eligibility beyond just oncology and renal, if we can index accommodation to actual market rates, because I don't know about you, but you'd be lucky to get a hotel room for more than, say, $200 a night. Adding in meal subsidies, care, loss of income support. I mean, the issues stem far beyond just accommodation and petrol.
It's good to see that some assistance is forthcoming and being increased. Alex Thomas, the founder of From Here to Healthcare, thanks for joining us.
16 minutes to 7. Let's talk about the weather for today and the week ahead. Jenny Horvath at the Weather Bureau joins us. Good morning to you, Jenny.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back.
No, thank you, Jenny. It's good to be back. Good to chat with you, Jenny. And I tell you what, it's going to be another warmish week.
Yeah, that's right. Sort of above average for the start of the week, and then really sort of maybe starting to get a little bit of warmth as we head into the weekend there. But it is looking like a pretty dry forecast through there. So we're currently in our northerly airstream. It was pretty warm overnight. Minimum temperature about 4:30 this morning of around 23 degrees. Currently it is 26.4 at the West Terrace Night Apira observation site. We are aiming for a top temperature of 30 degrees in the city, 32 out on the northern suburbs. Maybe a little bit milder there on the coast at Glenelg. 28 on the forecast there. Mount Barker looking at maybe getting up to around 33 because we've got this trough moving through. So we will see those winds shifting south-southwesterly during the course of the morning and into the afternoon. So keeping a bit of a lid on the temperature, not quite as warm as yesterday. Similar conditions as we head into Tuesday. There might be a bit of a cloudy start in the morning. Again, minimum temperature may be a bit cooler, around to 15 degrees, but that maximum still hovering of around 30 degrees. degrees. Winds turning maybe a little bit more southeasterly as we head into Wednesday there, so we could get a little bit gusty around the foothills at times, especially in the evenings there. That maximum capping out maybe around 28 degrees and around 27 on the Thursday. Again, maybe a bit of a cloudy morning through there, but as we head into the weekend period, we are looking at sunshine on Friday, maybe around 31 degrees, possibly 33 for Saturday there, and maybe Sunday still hovering in the low 30s. And I'm just having a bit of a sneaky there for Monday for the long weekend, maybe a mid-30s number, but we'll see how we go with that.
Oh, we'll watch those developments over the course of the week. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny Horvat at the Weather Bureau. Let's head to Sapole. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes joins us. Rebecca, unfortunately, a tragic incident at Stockyard Plain overnight.
Yes, another fatal crash, sadly, just before 8:30 p.m. last night. Police and emergency services were called to the Sturt Highway near Ziegler Road at Stockyard Plain after reports of a single-car rollover. The driver and the sole occupant of the Holden sedan, the 62-year-old local man, sadly died at the scene. That intersection was closed overnight while our major crash officers attended the scene, but the road has reopened. And the man's death is the 10th life lost on South Australian roads already so far this year. Anyone with any information that may assist the investigation into this fatal crash is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Rebecca, also a driver's been arrested after crashing on the Northern Expressway.
Yes, we received several reports from drivers on the Northern Expressway last night, around 5:30 p.m, of a vehicle driving erratically and causing other drivers to have to take evasive action to avoid collisions. This Toyota Camry sedan sideswiped at least one vehicle and did not stop at the scene. The police located the car in a spoon drain a short time later. The driver's a 33-year-old Parafield Gardens man. He wasn't injured, but he allegedly appeared to be under the influence of drugs. He was arrested and charged with driving under the influence, possessing a controlled drug, and driving in a manner dangerous to the public. He's been bailed to appear in the Elizabeth Magistrates Court in March, and his vehicle was towed from the scene, and that's also been impounded for 28 days.
Good stuff, Rebecca. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes there from Sapole.
13 minutes to 7, we'll be checking with the MFS on the other side of this break about the Croydon fire that claimed 2 businesses over the weekend. That's next. First, traffic. This summer, the feeling starts with a test drive at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park.
Morning there and welcome back, lads. Breakdown on O'Halloran Hill to look out for today. The Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road. Regency Park, debris on the north-south motorway near the Green Junction Road underpass. And to say too, the tour down under with road closures in Norwood around the parade till around 2:30. Coming this afternoon, Doothie Street, Malvern. Every minute of every day, a child is admitted to hospital. Help make it a happier place with a $30 donation to the Starlight Foundation every month. Donate today at starlight.org.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hey, it's Lauren here from Adelaide, and if you're like me and you love a good bargain from your local chemist, check out Star Discount Chemist. They're all about great value and helping your family stay healthy. Go in store or online for click and collect and delivery. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help?
At Harvey Norman, buy now with no deposit, 50 months interest free on a participating Latitude credit card and get a bonus gift card up to $1,000. Furniture, bedding, TVs, fridges, computers and more. Shop with no deposit, 50 months interest free from Latitude Financial Services and get a bonus $100 gift card for every $1,000 you spend. Monthly credit card fee currently $10.95 applies. New customers must be approved. Minimum finance $750. Equal monthly payment plan, T's and C's, charges and exclusions. Don't miss no deposit, 50 months interest free from Latitude at Harvey Norman now.
Now, the 2 Tom Hannahs at the Kenttown Hotel, they reckon one day is not enough to celebrate Australia Day. So for the love of this great country, the Kenttown Hotel is once again celebrating Australia Day for the whole month. In addition to their famous menu, you can enjoy the classic Aussie barbecue every day in January, featuring porterhouse steak, chicken fillet, lamb chop, pork sausage, coleslaw, crunchy chips and tomato sauce, all for just $22.
I did some reading ahead and I thought this has to be a typo. It's not. The hugely popular 1 kilo bucket of whole-cooked Port Lincoln Gulf prawns, enough prawns for 2 people, just $49.
Wow.
That's extraordinary. Now, if you can't get there for lunch or dinner, there's a $2.50 sausage sizzle that's on every single day from 2 to 5 p.m. as well. And you can taste Australia all day, every day with Cooper's Pints, just $7.50 and Aperol Spritz, $10. Come and celebrate a whole month of Australia Days in January at the Kenttown Hotel. Drink responsibly.
If you're constipated and struggling to poo, here's some great news. Introducing Caruso's Constipation Ease. Caruso's Constipation Ease is a new herbal and fibre combination containing cascara, yellow dock, fennel and green banana powder. These help to relieve constipation by making it easier for you to poo. So if you're struggling to poo and would like to poo more, why not try Caruso's Constipation Ease? Caruso's Constipation Ease is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Ten minutes to 7. Big incident in Croydon. Corner of Regency and South Roads at Croydon Park. 1 p.m. yesterday. Two businesses, 1,5 and Dialer Curry, destroyed in a massive fire. MFS had a lot of work to do, 90 personnel on site to contain the blaze. They did a wonderful job as always. Jeff Swan is the Chief Officer of the MFS and joins us. Jeff, any sense yet as to what caused this blaze?
Fire investigators are going to be on scene today, so we don't have a really clear idea as to what actually caused this blaze. I wouldn't like to speculate, but our investigators will be combing through the scene today and doing a comprehensive investigation. The fire did start deep into the property, so it was certainly more towards the centre of the property than on the edges. So it would appear to be something that was inside the property.
And it's quite an industrial area where it happened, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, it is quite an industrial area, and it's actually premises that are multi-tenanted. So there's actually a couple of different tenancies there. So it was a really large commercial fire. Crews responded really brilliantly. Like, they were on scene within 5 minutes of the actual dispatch, upgraded really quickly so that we had the appropriate amount of resources on scene. So we have a predetermined response with alarm levels. So it got upgraded to a fourth alarm really quickly, which means we get a lot more resources on scene, which saw us able to get those 90 personnel on scene. Really highly qualified, trained firefighters that could actually really tackle this quickly and stop it spreading into some of the other adjoining businesses, which they successfully did, which was really, really impressive.
We're looking at some of the vision on the Facebook and YouTube live stream as we speak. It was a real, people in the area will know, it was a real black sort of a smoke. How concerned were you about the materials burned and the threat to your fireys?
Oh, look, we are always concerned about the threat to our fireys. We are incredibly fortunate that we have some amazing firefighting equipment, and our staff are wearing breathing apparatus, so they are protected from that smoke, and, really great protection in their personal protection equipment. The downside of that is it's actually really hot work, and you get a day that's already fairly warm, and we do actually, have a number of people that we have to manage for heat stress. So at a job like that, we always make sure we have ambulance on scene to actually treat our own staff. But we were certainly very worried about the community and some of that black smoke. We were equally as worried about the premises, noting there was a number of batteries that, if they started to off-gas, that black smoke would get exponentially worse. So our crews were working really hard to actually make sure that those batteries weren't impacted, and that problem became a lot bigger, a lot quicker. So, particularly when there was a number of explosions that were heard inside the property, the crews, really tried to contain the fire, and to actually contain that fire, so that it stopped spreading any further within 45 minutes is just an amazing effort that they did. So the crews on scene did an incredible job.
Absolutely, they did, Jeff, as they always do. Jeff Swan, the MFS Chief Officer. Great to catch up with you, mate. We'll talk again soon.
It's coming up to 6 minutes to 7. An extraordinary news poll result overnight, as you've been hearing in 5AA News throughout the morning. If you've just joined us and haven't heard, a striking result for what has historically been a minor party in Australia. The primary votes, I'll just read them in order. The ALP, this is obviously news poll, do it as though if an election was held today, would receive 32% of the primary vote, so fewer than 1 in 3. That's dropped 4 points since the last news poll. One Nation would receive the second most first preference ballots in the country. They've jumped up 7 points to 22. The LNP, the coalition, fall to third. losing 3 points to 21. It is the worst result by a major party in the history of Newspoll. The Greens lost a point. Others claimed one. That's significant, actually, because if you combine the One Nation vote, Greens and others, you get to 47. So we're almost at a point where half of eligible voters in the country, if it's held today, according to Newspoll, would not vote for a major party. It feels like a major moment in Australian politics.
Well, it is half. Well, it's 53.
53-47.
Yeah, the combined vote for
it's just under
the
half.
Two major parties is 53 now.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary. It used to be 90% in Australia.
Big story for the major parties, even bigger for One Nation, resurgent after the Bondi terror attack, and with immigration and the cost of housing being front of mind for Australian voters at the moment. Carlos Coremba is the president of One Nation and a candidate at the state election for the Legislative Council, and joins us now on 5AA Breakfast. Carlos, good morning to you.
Good morning, lads. How are you guys going?
We're good, thanks, Carlos. What do you think's driving this surge in support for One Nation?
I think there's a lot of things, I guess, is the rubber is hitting the road. Australians are now starting to wake up to what is actually happening in their country, and they're not prepared to put up with the rubbish anymore. They want change. And neither of the major parties are providing that. They're basically the same party.
Historically, though, when you look at the way One Nation has performed electorally, and I had a front row seat for it, I was in Canberra the day Pauline Hanson gave her maiden speech in 1996, and I interviewed her several times back then. It's never really got its act together in an organisational sense. It's had a lot of personality problems. People have been elected at the Queensland State Parliament, and then they've defected. How do you think the party goes from being a bit of a pressure valve for people who are sick of political correctness to actually becoming a properly organised, electable outfit?
Well, I guess one of the big things we've done now is we've introduced branches, but, you've got to make sure that they're not stacked. Look, what we've done, guys, is and how we're going to manage these is it's a slow process. We have to get the right people in place. I've been going out actively recruiting candidates. I've specifically looked for people that just are average Australians that want to make a difference, especially here in South Australia. And we'll put those things in place as we go. But ultimately, both major parties are failing, and we need to step up. And this isn't new. This is happening all around the world. You only got to look at, say, for example, the Reform Party in the UK. It's the same thing. I think just the electorate is now starting to say, we can't keep going down this road. We need a change. I mean, my country of birth, Argentina, just did the same thing, electing Javier Milei. People have had a gutful, and now they're looking for change, and we have to deliver.
Is your sense in South Australia that the One Nation number is higher or lower than that figure federally?
That's a difficult one. From what I'm hearing from people, I'd say probably on par. I'd love to think it's a little bit higher. But look, I just speak to average Australians, and I'll tell you the biggest difference, guys, from now and, say, 2022 when we ran. People are actively coming out and saying, we will be supporting One Nation. We don't care what people think or say about us. We need change, and we're going to back you. And I'm talking about, ex-Labor voters, Liberal voters. I've had Liberal members calling up. I mean, our membership in the last 6 months has increased sixfold. We're the fastest growing party now in South Australia, political party in South Australia and Australia, to be honest.
Will you have candidates running in every state seat at the looming South Australian election, do you think, Carlos?
Yes, we are aiming to do that. I've got a few seats that I've still got to fill, so if anybody out there feels like they want to make a difference, and don't think that you can't do it. I mean, you look at what Pauline's done in her career. The other thing I'd like to say, guys, is that I did an interview just recently with the ABC, which obviously will never get aired, but the reporter asked me and said, and like you guys are talking about our polling numbers increasing, and she said, what's actually changed with the party? What have you done that has increased your polling? And I sort of paused and thought about it for a minute, and then I replied, nothing. We have done nothing different. We have seen the same message, consistency, and now people are just starting to go, well, we were wrong about the party, and now we're going to jump on board and support because we need to take our state and our nation back.
Carlos Coremba, the South Australian president of One Nation, who's also running for the Legislative Council at the state election. I mentioned being there with Phil Curry. No, it wasn't Phil yet. It was Matt Denholm and I we were in the press gallery sitting there in the chamber watching Pauline Hanson, who was the disendorsed Liberal candidate for Ipswich, giving her infamous 1996 maiden speech, where she made all those comments about Asians that seem kind of quaint with the benefit of hindsight, don't they? I think a lot of One Nation voters, if you asked them now, would say, we don't really mind Asian immigration. Some of the other stuff we've got real concerns about, but setting that to one side. But I remember after that, heading into the 98 election, talking to Kim Beazley about how the polls at the time showed support for One Nation was about 10%. He said it'd be much higher because people are embarrassed to admit that they're going to vote for her.
Imagine if that's true again now. It's just a sign that I think the chattering political classes treated immigration and housing like sort of fringe stories.
Things you're not meant to talk about too.
Well, people are talking about it, and if it goes like this, it's going to lead to a seismic shift in Australian politics. We're going to talk about South Australian politics. The Premier will join us live in the studio next.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Up to the minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 30 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Start the new year right with Physio Extra Pilates and group exercise classes. Book at physioextra.com.
A bushfire emergency south of Adelaide. A watch and act warning is in effect as the Tuparang fire on the Fleurieu continues to burn out of control. It's moving in a southerly direction toward Nankita, Mount Jagged and Mosquito Hill. That's around 10 k's east of Mount Compass. Hayden Nelson from 7 News says some residents evacuated not long after the fire broke out late yesterday afternoon.
About 100 or so people who made their way to the Mount Compass Hotel, just wanting to make their way out quickly, thinking this is the safest place we could be. But many of those people had horses and they've just had to let them free because this fire came through with such a ferocity and such a pace, and they saw the warnings and thought, right, we've got to do something.
Our shocking start to the year on the roads has continued. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says there was a single car rollover at Stockyard Plain last night.
The driver and the sole occupant of the Holden sedan, the 62-year-old local man, sadly died at the scene. That intersection was closed overnight while our major crash officers attended the scene, but the road has reopened.
The state road toll for the year now stands at 10. Enhanced hate speech and gun laws will dominate a special 2-day sitting of Parliament. Michael Packey reports from Canberra.
Politicians are back in the national capital to specifically address the Bondi Beach terrorist attack, with the Parliament paying its official respects to the 15 people killed in the incident. Legislation will also be introduced to tackle anti-Semitism. The watered-down laws will mainly focus on banning hate groups and deporting migrants who preach hate. The Greens won't back the changes, while the opposition says it's working through the legislation. The Greens will support a push to strengthen gun laws, which would limit the number of firearms someone can own, tightening licensing requirements and restricting gun ownership to Australian citizens.
A boy has suffered serious leg injuries in a shark attack in Sydney. He remains in hospital in a critical condition after being mauled at Vaucluse. Marine biologist Lawrence Klebeck believes a bull shark was likely responsible.
They're the ones that can live in fresh water. They travel far up rivers. And after periods of heavy rainfall, they often come to these nearshore areas.
Donald Trump has put $1 billion permanent membership price tag on his so-called Board of Peace, and Australia has been invited to join. Reid Butler reports from the United States.
Critics are worried this looks a whole lot like the US president trying to set up a rival to the United Nations, which he has been very critical of in the past. Now, if Australia does sign up for permanent membership, there'll be a steep price, $1.5 billion. According to the draft charter, the inaugural chairman of the Board of Peace would be Donald Trump. Decisions would be taken by a majority, but all would be subject to the chairman's approval. The Board of Peace would oversee the Board of Peace for Gaza, which has been set up to help restore stability there. But the charter for that broader international peacekeeping body we've been talking about doesn't mention Gaza, suggesting the wider group would have a mandate over other international conflicts. So far, the only country to unequivocally accept this invitation is Hungary.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Just the one winner from 4 Aussies on court on day one at the Australian Open. Talia Gibson had the first win of the tournament, defeating Anna Blinkova 6-1, 6-3. Jason Kubler and Tristan Schoolkate went down, while Adam Walton was beaten by world number one Carlos Alcaraz. Despite the straight sets victory, Alcaraz says it was no walk in the park.
Unexpected for me, the level he plays, so I had to manage myself to be ready for that battle.
Adelaide and Port Adelaide's players will again train this morning as they continue the hard and hot work of the summer. Power midfielder Jackson Mead will address the media around lunchtime at Alberton. The Adelaide 36ers have lost to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix 108-89 in their NBL clash in Perth yesterday. The Sixers are still 2 games clear on top, but they've got a very difficult schedule in the next 10 days, with games on the road against the New Zealand Breakers, Sydney Kings and then the Brisbane Bullets. 2 games in the English Premier League overnight, Aston Villa blowing a golden opportunity to jump into the top 2. That's after they lost 1-0 at home to Everton, while Wolverhampton and Newcastle shared the points in a 0-0 draw. Aussie golfer Adam Scott has begun his final round of the Sony Open in Hawaii. He's currently 4 under and is in a tie for 36th, putting him 8 shots behind American leader Davis Riley. And the NFL playoffs continue this morning. It's the New England Patriots off to a strong start. They're currently leading the Houston Texans 7-3, close to quarter time. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there. Breakdown to look out for this morning at O'Halloran Hill, the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road, Regency Park, debris on the north-south motorway near the Green Junction Road underpass. And day 2 of the tour down under today. A lot of activity around Norwood. Cameras, Doothie Street, Melbourne and Kings Road, Paralawi. How do you get a bachelor's handbag to your door when dinner is in an hour? Uber Eats and Coles have come together to save dinner time at breakfast and lunch and snacks. Shop Coles on Uber Eats. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Down the 5AA forecast.
With lots of CMAX trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
Mostly sunny for your Monday with a top of 30. Cloud clearing tomorrow, 30. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 28. Thursday, cloud clearing, 27. Right now, it's 27 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA. Always Adelaide. 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Seven after 7, and good morning to you if you're joining us for the very first time on this Monday, the 19th of January. It is still hot out there. In fact, it stopped getting cooler and it started getting warmer again. 26.8 degrees now we're up to outside in the city. Things heating up too on the state election trail. Both the leaders have been out campaigning, the Premier in the regions, but back in Adelaide. And joining us live in the 5AA Breakfast studio. Premier, good morning to you.
Morning, Will. Good morning, Dave. Welcome back. Thank you, Premier. Our first interview for the year. Happy New Year. We'll be catching up with Ashton Hearn again, or rather for the first time this year later in the show. Do you sort of feel like you had your Outlook calendar taken off you over the last couple of weeks with Riders Week?
It's seriously like we had planned some time ago to spend the first couple of weeks a year travelling around the state, which I've been doing. I did 2 pretty big regional trips and got a lot of Ks on the clock. So that didn't change for me. But in terms of what I was dealing with while I was on the phone in between various announcements around regional South Australia, it obviously became a bit of an issue and took a bit of time. But it doesn't really change my focus. In terms of what the main game is for the state and the policy agenda that we're taking to the election, that doesn't change. But look, it was an issue when you're in positions of leadership. Things come out of the blue and you've got a responsibility to stand up and take a position, and I did that. I think I did the right thing. Lots of people think I did the wrong thing, but that's the way this job operates. And I just hope that most people have an appreciation that the view and the position I took, I did on a basis of some principles that I believe in, and not everyone necessarily understands that, but that's life.
What do you make of today's news poll? Almost half the country now doesn't support the Labor Party or the Coalition.
It's unbelievable. That's the truth of it. Look, I mean, you would appreciate that while I follow federal politics and have an interest in it, it's not my obsession in the way it probably was before I was in state parliament. But, yeah, I mean, it's a sort of set of circumstances you would never have predicted 10 years ago, but it's where the world is going.
So you don't think it'll be replicated at the state level? That's those sorts of numbers in Newspoll?
Well, I hope not. Because I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's good for the country. But we're seeing this sort of globally at the moment, that politics is fractured. And, you know, I don't mind saying that in no small part the events of Riders Week isn't unrelated. People rushing to polarise, people rushing towards stoking the fires of division. That's not the type of leader I am. You know, I think it's pretty obvious, and people have got a sense of this over the last few years. Whether they necessarily like it or not, it's another matter. But, you know, I'm a centrist Labor leader. You know, there's a lot about the Liberal Party that I think is virtuous. Now, people on the left don't like me saying that, but that's where my politics is. So, you know, I think there's a value in having people in positions of leadership who are trying to bring people together to achieve a higher end for the state. And that's what that's the style of leader that I am. That's what I actually believe philosophically. But that seems to be at odds of where things are going at the moment, where people love the idea of division, and that sort of polarises people, draws people to the political edges, and that potentially has consequences.
I'm interested you describe yourself as a centrist Labor leader. I was thinking about it this morning, actually, in the context
I think it's a secret, is it?
Well, no, that's it. But I'm saying, yeah, you see yourself as centrist. Do you think your colleagues do? I did a list off the top of my head just in the news just a moment ago, cracking down on the protests after the Extinction Rebellion malarkey on North Terrace. The Riders Week leaning on the Riders Week board to say, hey, maybe this Abdul Fattah person is not the kind of person we should have presenting in South Australia. Mandating driveways for big cars, blocking teens from social media, having an open mind on nuclear power if it was commercial. Have we ever had a more conservative Labor leader in South Australia?
Well,
these are all pretty right. These are right-wing positions. If I read that list out, I think other people would say, well, that's a centre-right party.
Well, no, I think what people would say is that's a practical approach that's, you know, in concert with the mainstream. I mean, when you actually look at all those things individually and you try and put a political label on it, sure. But if you actually look at all those things individually and just assess them by its merits and is it consistent with the interests of the state and the social accord that we have, which is, you know, aiming for prosperity, aiming for people to treat each other peacefully, having rights to protest, but just not doing it in a way that gets in the way of everybody else getting on with their job. You know, whatever it is, I just try and look at the issues, take a practical approach, consistent with what I think the main game is, growing the state's economy to improve people's living standards as much as we possibly can. But I could also list you another whole list of things that you haven't mentioned that people would characterise as quite progressive and at odds with, you know, the conservative side of politics.
Do you not want us to mention them, though?
Well, you can. I mean, they're not a secret either.
A voice to Parliament?
Exactly. And again, that was something that I assessed and I thought it was right, took it to the people at our state election. So, you know, my focus over the few weeks ahead between now and the state election, which will be here before we know it, is demonstrate that my team's as united as ever been. Have you got a slogan yet? And would you like to reveal it exclusively on the 5AA Breakfast Show to kick off the year? No, in 5 weeks. Happy to.
5 weeks.
Well, I think...
Was it 4 years ago? It was label fix the ramping crisis. What is it this time? Label really fix the ramping crisis.
It was for the future. And that was the slogan. And certainly a commitment to spend a lot more on health was part of it. But, you know, on Friday, ANZ released its Statometer, where it ranks every state around the country in economic performance. Now, you know, I hate to labour this point, but a few years ago, we were at the bottom of the rung. We're number one. Like we were number one in Friday's report by a long way. And that's on the back of the CommBank State of the States, the Business Council of Australia, everyone, business confidence surveys. I'm not saying the state's economy is perfect. There are a lot of people out there experiencing genuine challenges, particularly on people lower and fixed incomes. But in terms of the state's economic performance relative to the rest of the country, we are outperforming everybody, right? And I don't think that's an accident, right? We're actually doing things and making decisions and getting on with the job. And I guess when people see our agenda, the bigger parts of our agenda we take to the election, hopefully they think it's worthy of support.
Is this election to lay down Misère?
You know how much I hate people saying that.
You might hate them saying it. Everyone thinks it.
Well, it's just not true, because every election is winnable. You just talked about Newspoll. You just talked about Newspoll, right? I mean, we've now got One Nation as the second biggest voting bloc around the country, according to Newspoll. Things happen, and the general public, they got the best BS radar I know, right? And you hear it when I was traveling around the regions, people just talk how it is, and it's it's very refreshing. And they pick up when you're disinterested or taking them for granted or assuming a result before it's happened. People pick up on presumptiveness on behalf of politicians about electoral results. So, the rule that I've made everybody in the Labor Party live by: success breeds complacency. Complacency leads to defeat. Only the paranoid survive. So we've got a healthy dose of paranoia within the unit. You don't want it to overwhelm you, but it's there, and we take it seriously.
I'm sure there'll be many more chats between now and polling day. Peter Malinauskas, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll catch up soon.
Always happy to. Thanks, gents.
15 minutes after 7. We'll get to some of your feedback on the text line in just a moment. But first, traffic. This summer, the feeling starts with a test drive of the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Summerton Park.
Morning there. Breakdown to look out for this morning at O'Halloran Hill, the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road, Regency Park, debris on the north-south motorway near the Green Junction Road underpass. And day 2 of the Tour Down Under today. A lot of activity around Norwood. Cameras, Doothie Street, Melbourne and Kings Road, Paralawi. How do you get a bachelor's handbag to your door when dinner is in an hour? Uber Eats and Coles have come together to save dinner time at breakfast and lunch and snacks. Shop Coles on Uber Eats. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
At Coles, summer starts with half-price sunscreen and tanning products category-wide. Save big on brands like Nivea, Banana Boat, Barley Body, Bondi Sands and Cancer Council. In-store or online at Coles. Excludes everyday and clearance items. Follow the directions for use. Offer ends Tuesday.
5AA is celebrating what makes Adelaide truly special. Local businesses across our city, north, south, east and west.
We are celebrating local today with Gramazio Foods. Danny from Gramazio Foods is here. Yours is such a great story. We'll get on to what you're doing in a second. Where did it come from? Is this a family tradition for you?
Yeah, definitely been around food my whole life. Actually grew up in my parents' butcher shop. My brother and I decided to branch out in our 20s and open our own store, and then from there we were just engaging with the customers. They were just asking, like, gluten-free, can we have flavours? And we thought, well, let's have a go. And then we started creating them, and it was just fun to sort of work with them and come up with all these new flavours. And then eventually, because we were sort of perfecting the recipes and putting a lot of effort into them, they ended up coming out tasting better than our original recipes.
So there's a real sense of pride in the work that you put in to now see the result?
Definitely. And I think to have people come in and just comment on the quality and the effort that we put in, like, that makes all the difference, when you get thanked for it. So it's and then it's great because we engage with the celiac community, and then other, every day we're getting someone come in, my daughter or my granddaughter or my brother or sister's been diagnosed, and they think it's, oh no, this is going to change everything, but they look in our store and we've got over 75 products on show, and then they're like, oh, I'm feeding the whole family, and they'll love it. So you're not having to cook 2 meals, and then a lot of people now are looking at the health benefits of it as well. So yeah, we're definitely just seeing a massive shift towards it. And look, if it tastes good anyway, why not come and give it a go?
Gramazio Foods is South Australia's only celiac certified food store. Where do we find you?
We've got one store in Golden Grove and another one in Burnside Village, so come down and check us out.
Danny, thanks so much for coming in.
Cheers, thanks for that.
Danny from Gramazio Food.
5AA, supporting local, celebrating SA.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At Premier Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, Premier Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for Premier Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
Without doubt, the biggest contributor by far to the swear jar at Biben Bathrooms and Kitchens is David Cox himself. It's actually a wonder that Coxie can still afford to be in business. That's it. Coxie swears that you can rely on the integrity and expertise of his dedicated team for your kitchen or bathroom renovation.
And they're all doing it now. There's a new contributor to the swear jar, Mark the Tiler. Mark swears to greet you with a smile and to be millimetre perfect with his tiling.
How about Renette, a designer of 20 years with Biourban, who swears to listen to your ideas and help you create a functional space. And Rick the plumber, he swears to always be on time and clean up after himself.
For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Biourban Bathrooms and Kitchens. They're Adelaide's home renovation experts.
I tried to change a tap. Oh, I did change a tap yesterday in our kitchen. I found new swear words that I didn't even know I had in my vocabulary.
Should have rung Biourban.
Well, exactly right.
Know the news with Adelaide's 7 News. Don't miss Adelaide's leading news hour tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast. Stephen Rowe on 5AA Breakfast.
Order a new glider or garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply. Back on deck for 2026. It is the one, the only Stephen Rowe. Rowie, good morning to you.
Oh, Pemba and Will, welcome back. Great to hear your voice. Here's for a happy and healthy one. And I reckon if you tick those 2 boxes in 26, it's going to be a ripper, hey?
That's all we can ask for, Rowie.
Same to you, mate. Have
that and a premiership.
Oh, I agree. Hey, Eddie, you win. Yeah, well, okay. Yes, I'm going to get to the Crows and Port. Hey, Eddie, you win the Ashes. I just think it sets up a great sporting year. To win 4-1 was superb. Travis Head, wow. Alex Carey, absolutely staff. I think it's my most enjoyable Australian win when we win the Ashes. You know, it's against the old foe, the Poms. They came over here with Bazball. What a joke Bazball ended up being.
I reckon one of the real highlights of the summer, Rowie, was seeing Stuart Broad's face in the Channel 7 commentary box.
Yeah.
It was just excellent television. Broadcam.
Yeah, they dead set thought they were a chance when they come here. What a joke. But this Bazball, I don't know where it come from or why they think it's going well. I reckon Baz, this is McCullum, I reckon his great-great-grandfather said, hey, son, we've got the best wool in the world, but guess what else you can do with sheep? Now, I'll let the listeners finish the rest of that. It's not eat them. I mean, where did this come from? It's a joke.
And that, folks, was Stephen Rowe making his big return for 2026.
Anyway,
setting the standard high early.
After 25 games to 36 is a top. There's a championship beckoning there. The last one we won was in 2002. God, I hope they do it this year. Adelaide United, well, look, they're building their 7th, but only 1 win away from 2nd spot. The Strikers were disappointing. Here's what we want to focus on. This could be the first year since 2017 our 2 teams make the finals. And I think from here, that's not a broad brush statement or a big outlandish one. There's a top 10. So do you think that's a Freddie comment? We could have both our teams in the finals this year.
Based on form for the Crows.
Are we counting the top 10 as the finals?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So we've decided the wild card game. That's just the finals. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
right.
like junior finals. It's actual finals. Well, then
it's finals.
So Port would have to win what? Actually, it was 3 games between 13th and 10th last year, so they'd have to improve by 3 games. You'd think they're not going to have a horror run like that before again.
Well, Timmy's going to be the one to talk more about Port, but I'm very bullish about the Josh Carr Running Club. I think they'll be fine. We're going to drill down on that today after 4. Here's the numbers. There's a trial between Port and the Crows at Alberton Oval, February 20. Now, that's a month away, exactly. We then take on Freo February 28. They'll be here before we know it. West Coast play Port. So the season starts March 5th. We're there. When we get back today, folks, we'll do a little bit of cricket, a little bit of baseball, a little bit of talking about sheep. But we're going to be talking footy. Hey? Crows round 1, Port round 1 is just around the corner. Cannot wait. We're back, Timmy. Great to hear your voice. I've missed you too. Boy, have I missed you too.
We've missed you too, mate. I can't believe it. I'm just checking on the app now. So, Thursday the 5th of March, Sydney play... What a Carlton always get the opening game. Sydney v Carlton at the SCG is the first game of the year. 5th of March. Is that the earliest the season's ever started?
Well, it'd have to be up there, but that's what I'm saying. So in 30 days' time, the Crows play Port at Alberton. Like, they're into player mode. They're into no experimenting. I know they've had...
We just lost Rowie. Either that or...
This is it.
Oh, no, he's back.
We're in a footy talking mode.
Yeah, we are.
Sorry about that.
No, you just dropped
Either
out.
that or today's IT guy comes from
Sorry
New
about
Zealand.
that. We're
He's
into it.
unplugged him.
Hey.
No, we might leave it there. Rowie, it was either unplugged by him or the Commercial Media Authority.
That's right.
Who's to know?
We'll quit while Rowie's behind.
Stephen Rowe, order a new glider or garage door before the end of February. The operator is free. T's and C's apply. 25 minutes after 7. Should we do some texts? Stacey Lee's coming up. Stacey, of course, back on deck this year. Back on deck with us on Mondays, which is very, very exciting. She'll be live in the studio after the 7:30 news.
A lot of feedback to the interview with the Premier, and I've got to say, overwhelmingly, and this was the case last week, our listeners, by the length of the straight, are backing the stand that he took on the uninviting of Randa Abdul Fattah. Andrew says, I back the Premier's views on Riders Week. He says, you can have freedom of speech, but our society has gotten to the point where freedom of speech cannot descend into hate speech. And government, state and federal and everyone need to be far more proactive in calling it out.
Just on that, just while that's an issue, I just want to note, a piece was written in The Age overnight, 9 newspapers, about the title of the piece was Create Tension and Disruption, Randa Abdul Fattah's Road to Festival Fiasco. And they tried to get comment from her for the piece. And this is what is contained in the article. Abdul Fattah would not speak to this masthead for this story. Through intermediaries, she said she would not be quoted in a story that also quoted Zionists. Now, just pause for a moment and imagine any other group is mentioned instead of Zionists at the end of that sentence.
Well, African Americans, Aboriginal people, Asians. It is extraordinary.
Look, once upon a time, people got cancelled for making off-colour jokes. I'm not advocating anyone gets cancelled, but my Lord, this is the most fringe of fringe perspective.
No, the woman is an accomplished and card-carrying hypocrite, and I don't say that myself. I'm actually paraphrasing, but quoting the word hypocritical. That comes from the own internal risk assessment that the Riders Week board carried out in September last year, saying, hang on a minute, this woman who's going to complain till the cows come home about being deplatformed is the same one who helped lead the charge to have a Jewish author, Thomas Friedman, successfully uninvited on the cooked-up basis of a scheduling error, uninvited from the 2024 Riders Week Festival. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say, these people, this Jew isn't allowed to speak, but I have to.
The unintentional comedy of the whole saga was watching this conga line of sudden Elon Musk-esque free speech soldiers marching off, wounded by the fact that unfettered free speech was no longer allowed.
Yeah. And where was his boycott? What about the Jewish bloke? Where were the authors? Where were the publishers? Where were the bookstores? Where were all of the people saying, I stand with Thomas Friedman? No, nobody.
Yeah. A lot of people use the term free speech, but few seem to actually understand it.
No, it's all about, and when you look at it's the same names, the same olds keep cropping up at every Riders Week, not just in Adelaide, but all around the country. And they build themselves as these sort of festivals of dangerous ideas.
Well, they're not.
Actually, it's like more often than not, it's a festival of identical ideas. There's nothing edgy about it. It's the left-wing version of Sky After Dark.
Yeah, you'd get as much diversity of opinion as if you went into the Adelaide Club and asked them their view on the Albanese government's $3 million superannuation tax. 28 after 7, Stacey Lee coming up in just a moment.
Renovating your bathroom, kitchen or laundry is exciting. It's the bit after that's annoying. Cleaning and scrubbing mould out of grout. Well, if you choose Mr. Wet Wall now instead of tiles, you'll have a lot less to do later. With Mr. Wet Wall, there's no grout, just a stunning, smooth surface that's stylish and 100% waterproof. It's quicker to install, so it costs less, and there's zero mess. So why wouldn't you? Mr. Wet Wall. MrWetWall.com.
Get saving now with City Discount Tyres. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
Now, breaking news, this is good. Chai lattes and chocolate brownies are good for you. Yeah. Well, look, maybe not when it comes to calories. Forget that. But what about the soul, David? They don't put that on the nutritional packaging, do they? Cafe Hoppability in Fullerton is operated by Holistic Care SA and provides meaningful and rewarding jobs for keen workers who live with disability. If you're in the Fullerton area, make Cafe Hoppability your go-to cafe for breakfast, brunch or lunch.
They also do catering for corporate lunches and functions. It's a great option for all the local businesses in the east. And remember, when you choose Cafe Hoppability, you're doing a generous deed so you can grab a second brownie guilt-free.
Next lunch break, if you just need some catering done, do something that's good for you and for others. Cafe Hoppability, Fullerton Road, Kent Town, just up from the roundabout. Find them on Instagram, and they've got a brand new website coming soon.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Nuriutla and Clare has always been well worth a trip, even more so with their 42nd birthday sale. Steinborner has purchased over 400 certified vehicles, SUVs and 4x4s, all with free roadside assist, and ripped $500,000 off normal prices across the range, with $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Plus, deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford, Mitsubishi, Jack and Mazda. Visit steinborner.com.au.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 30 today with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Getting fit, your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at FIVEAA Extra. 6 locations.
It's been a long night for the CFS south of the city. A bushfire at Tuparang on the Fleurieu is burning out of control. A watch and act covers Nankita, Mount Jagged and Mosquito Hill as well. The fire was reported just before 5 last night. This local has told 7 it was a close call.
Very, very lucky. It just missed my property by probably 200 odd metres each side. So it could have been a lot worse. We're lucky that, there's absolutely no wind right now.
There's been another fatal on our roads. A 62-year-old has been killed in a single-car rollover on the Sturt Highway at Stockyard Plain. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says this year's road toll has hit double figures already.
The man's death is the 10th life lost on South Australian roads already so far this year. Anyone with any information that may assist the investigation into this fatal crash is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
The Albanese government is urging the opposition to get on board and support the revised hate speech laws. Federal MPs and senators are back in Canberra for a special 2-day sitting of Parliament in the wake of the Bondi Beach terror attack. The legislation would see hate groups banned and make it easier to deport migrants spreading hate. Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles says Parliament must be unified on this issue.
Frankly, the coalition are all over the place and it is very difficult to bring forward bipartisan legislation in that context. That's what we want to do. That said, Sarah, there remain really important elements which will be put in front of the Parliament tomorrow, and it matters that the Liberal Party support them.
Barnaby Joyce says the surge in support for One Nation, now ahead of the coalition in the polls, is not down to his recent defection. News poll shows support for One Nation is up 7 points at 22%. The coalition a record low of 21. The former Deputy PM says One Nation is picking up a lot of people who feel left behind.
They are concerned that politics these days is about looking after fringe groups at the expense of the Australian population in general. They want a dynamic change, and their support for One Nation shows that dynamic change is here. It's arrived.
The Danish Prime Minister has declared Europe won't be blackmailed. US President Donald Trump is threatening tariffs to 8 NATO members in his fight for Greenland. The European Union is being urged to trigger an unused anti-coercion instrument as a countermeasure. Former US diplomat Daniel Baer doesn't expect the president to take much notice.
I don't think Donald Trump has a strong track record of showing consideration for the concerns of our strongest allies, unfortunately.
Piers Morgan has taken a tumble outside a London restaurant and ended up having a hip replaced. The controversial TV host jokingly telling his followers on social media he blames Donald Trump. Now Turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
It's all happening at Melbourne Park, Tom Wren.
It certainly is, Mel. We'll start there. World number one Arena Sabalenka had a straight sets win over French wild card Sarah Ratamananga, 6-4, 6-1 on day one of the Oz Open. Sabalenka says it took her a few games to find her stride.
Super happy to be through this match. I think I didn't really start at my best and was struggling to find my rhythm, but then I feel like in the last two games of the first set I found my rhythm and I was able to step in and to play a little bit better tennis.
Carlos Alcaraz defeated Aussie Adam Walton 6-3, 7-6, 6-2 to move on to the next round. Talia Gibson, the only Aussie to progress on day one. Alex de Minaur's campaign is due to get underway today against lucky loser Mackenzie McDonald. That's after Italian Matteo Berrettini was forced to withdraw. Well, New Zealand's Ali Wollaston has the leader's ochre jersey heading into stage 3 of the Tour Down Under after she won stage 2 yesterday. The men's prologue stage will be held through the city tomorrow night. To basketball, the Adelaide 36ers have suffered their 6th loss of the season after going down 108-89 against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix yesterday. The result means the Sixers are now only 2 games clear on top of the table, with the Phoenix sitting in second. To soccer, and Everton's rise up the English Premier League standings continues after a hard-fought 1-0 win against Aston Villa on the road. The only goal of the game coming just shy of the hour mark.
It's McNeil, and it spins loose for Barry. Tiano Barry works wonders for Everton.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. The result lifts the Toffees up to 10th and leaves Villa 7 points behind leaders Arsenal. One other game overnight, Wolverhampton and Newcastle playing out a 0-0 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there at Regency Park. Debris on the north-south motorway just near the Grand Junction Road underpass at the moment. Pretty slow South Road, Karata Park near Anzac Highway. Getting busy Marion Road at Marion and a camera trim operated at Seaton. The King Living Summer Sale is in its final day. Save up to 50% on selected Australian Design Award-winning furniture. Hurry, final day. Shop online or visit a King Living showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
With lots of C-Max trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
30 today and mostly sunny. Cloud clearing tomorrow 30. Wednesday mostly sunny 28. 27 on Thursday. Right now it's 27 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Summer's here. Time to get your new Woolco pool blanket. Made from quality materials, a Woolco pool blanket will keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings now. Visit woolco.com.au.
Here's an important air conditioning tip from Morford Air. Never give your teenagers control over the aircon remote. Your energy bills could go through the roof. Instead, for summer, set it around 21 degrees. It's the most energy efficient temperature. And if you turn it on early, before the teens are out of bed, your system will have less work to do, keeping your home cool all day. When it's too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air. morfordair.com.au.
Morford Air.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 8. Quinton, following on from Rowi's footy preview and sense of how soon the season is using a football analogy on us, David. He says, half-time in your first morning back, is it going to be a long season or are you on form for a top 2 finish? Looking forward to the next 90 minutes of play. Well, thank you, Quinton. We're delighted to be back. Looking forward to the next 90 minutes and beyond.
We are.
Looking forward to the next few minutes because there's a much bigger return to 5AA than ours. It is, of course, our good friend Stacey Lee.
On 5AA Breakfast, this is Stacey Lee.
A regular on Monday morning, setting the agenda for the week, talking state politics and all that's been going on. It's great to have you back, Stace. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Great to be back.
Now, before we talk state politics, you showed me a picture that I think needs some explanation. You went to an event over the weekend that I didn't even know existed.
Yes.
A baby rave.
Yes.
A baby rave?
A baby rave.
We took Molly to her first concert.
Rave? My memories of raves in the early 90s involved all sorts of nefarious behaviour involving listening to bands like the Happy Mondays and the Stone Roses. Don't tell me it was like that.
The only powder substance allowed in was baby formula, of course. But no, there was this thing I discovered just as we had Molly. It's called toddler techno, and there's an artist, Lenny Pierce, who's actually the brother of one of the Wiggles. Children's entertaining must run in their families. And he's doing a national tour, and it's a full tour. There was like smoke on the stage and the strobe lights going, and he has remixed nursery rhymes to techno music, and some of it's pretty hardcore. My favourite's Humpty Dumpty. It's like, Humpty Dumpty.
Do the kids go off?
The kids love it. And we thought Ben and I got into it when we had Molly, so we thought we'd take her along, and she had her little headphones on to protect her ears, of course, and her sunglasses on to protect her eyes. She was in the carrier on my chest, and the legs were wagging, and she was loving it.
It looks
look,
quite
Dave,
a scene. How is Molly going? Is she good?
She's amazing.
What is
She's
she now,
amazing. She's nearly 7 months.
7 months. Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah, she's doing so well. She gave me a full night's sleep last night to get ready for work.
That's considerate.
It's a really special time. Before I had her, so many parents said, "Oh, it's just the most special time of your life." I still remember what Rowie said, and he said it's like a secret club that so many people are a member of, and you don't understand until you're in it. And it really, really is. I wasn't expecting to be so happy. I know it sounds so crass, it sounds so lame, but it's a total life-changing
experience.
Kids
give you free joy that no one prepares you for. You're like, I had a good day today. It had nothing to do with all the things that led you to have a good day before you had a child. Yeah.
It's so true.
And it keeps going as they get older. You know, my oldest is 22 now, and seeing her with the younger kids and the things they talk about together and the way they all look after each other, like it just warms your heart.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you haven't been on air for 7 months.
Yes.
Does it feel you arrived to us? You arrive back today, and the second most popular political party in the country is One Nation. Do you feel like you've been dropped into an alien world from the one you left?
Yeah, what's happening? When I saw that, I had to go back and look. Did I miss something at the federal election? Because I was still working at the federal election. No lower house seats for One Nation. So I don't know. Is this just one of those polls that comes out at an inconvenient time for One Nation when they're super popular, when there's not a federal election coming up? I mean, there's a state election. Do we think it'll have an impact on the state election? I don't know. They had their first One Nation MP at the last one. No longer a One Nation MP, Sarah Game.
Well, she left the party.
Yeah.
Telling us that it was because the brand was too limiting. The brand looks pretty good at the moment.
Isn't it a more simple explanation, which is that when there is a perceived lack of political leadership, others fill the void. And that what's happened is Albo looked like he was a ditherer post-Bondi.
Mm-hmm.
The Libs can't get their lines right about whether they're pro-immigration, anti-immigration. They seem to, over the past 6 months, have been disagreeing on absolutely everything, net zero, you name it. So when you've got a party that's got a clear, simple message, to Will's point earlier, particularly when people are concerned about immigration, the link between immigration and the cost of living, the price of housing, that is just red meat for Pauline Hanson.
And it's one simple argument that people can get their heads around. If you were to ask someone, and you sort of touched on it with the Premier, what will your slogan be for this election? What would it be? What could it be? Because he can't talk about ramping because that's not fixed. Can't talk about hydrogen this year. That's not happening. If he talks about sport, live golf, gather round, he gets labelled as the sports minister again and someone who doesn't like the arts. So what will their slogan be? This is for Liberal and Labor as well. They don't have one clear, simple message because they've got to fight an election on all fronts. When you're a minor party like One Nation, you can just have one clear, simple message and you can have it for 20 years and it can take 20 years to sink in to become popular with people and that's seen as a huge success at some point in time now. You know, like you touched on with Pauline Hanson, when it was Stop the Asians, it wasn't very popular.
It does underscore, and you make the point there succinctly, Stacey, that it's not as though there's been an absence of material with which the Liberal Party, both state and federal, has been able to attack the government. Anthony Albanese had his worst period as Prime Minister over the break, and it's One Nation that seized the momentum. It was Josh Frydenberg, in absentia, that led the campaign for the Royal Commission. The Libs didn't gain anything. Immigration typically was, if there was any concerns or qualms about immigration, that was a Liberal strong point. They gain nothing. And state level, I think the most egregious lies we've been told as voters in the last 25 years are there's no carbon tax or a government I'll lead and we will fix ramping. Now, one of them dogged someone their entire political career after that point. The other one seems to have been water for duck's back. And part of that is just because of an inability to prosecute the counter-argument. So I think it's interesting that people are trying to find somewhere else to reside. I think it's in large part due to the incompetence of the Liberal Party. It's been able to prosecute some arguments that you managed in 30 seconds to detail there that could be made against Labor incumbents, both state and federal.
It also helps that I've been the leader of my party consistently over the last 35 years. The Libs have had 4 leaders in 4 years.
That's true. You've had no internal division.
Exactly.
Do you think any of this, so Riders Week, One Nation, all feels like it's in the same sort of milieu? So state election, everything we look through now through the prism of the state election, does it change any of the calculus, do you think?
I was thinking about this last week when Riders Week really sort of came to a head and it's still going, that story. I don't think it will have a huge impact on Labor's vote in the election. If you don't like what the Premier's done with Riders Week and you're a traditional Labor voter, I don't think it'll mean any votes bleed to the Liberal Party. It may mean some more votes for some Greens or some independents. I know former Green Kieran Snape is running in Adelaide. If I was Labor, I'd be watching the seat of Adelaide quite closely. I know that there's a popular independent in the seat of Unley as well, who was a former Labor candidate, Ryan Harrison. So potentially for those people, potentially for the Greens, they pick up an extra vote or two. But will it have an impact? No, I don't think so.
I think I totally agree with what you just said. It could become an issue for them in seats like Unley and Adelaide where, people have still got their vote yes stickers up on the bull-nosed veranda and climate emergency stickers on the back of their Volvos and what have you, or Teslas. I think there's a potential danger for the Libs from it. Well, two things. One, it's denied Ashton Hearn 2 weeks' worth of oxygen because it's just been an all-dominating story. And every news service has been mally on Riders Week. So there's 2 weeks where Ashton hasn't been able to get ahead above the parapet. The other thing, and there's texts to this effect on our text line this morning, I think it could actually make some traditional Liberal voters stay with Mally. Because a lot of people, and you look at all the comments last week on the pieces that we did on The Australian, there were hundreds of comments going, I am a lifelong Liberal voter and I totally support what Peter Malinauskas has done with the doctor. So there might be a bit of a Lib vote shifting or staying with Malinauskas because he is, as Will said before, in the political centre.
Potentially.
Let me read you a text from BJ. I like Mally and Sky After Dark, says BJ. I
don't think people would have been confident to admit the Sky After Dark so openly before, but
I just don't think that's... I don't think when Peter Malinauskas went into politics, he thought, I'll have the market cornered on the far-right voters in South Australia.
Well, John Howard was in Adelaide last April at the Arca Bar. I went along to the event.
I love that you know John Howard's schedule.
Well,
they're old mates.
All right, Terry,
start the counter for 2026.
So, no, seriously,
Day one.
John Howard was addressing the South Australian Liberal Party in its entirety, and in his speech, he was bagging Albo. He's a dither. He doesn't stand for anything. He's got no backbone. And then in the speech he said, I don't mind Malinauskas. That's John Howard.
Well, that's the thing. And you asked the Premier about this. A lot of what he has focused on would be considered more right than left. And it's got a few people in his party offside, but if it means they stay in power for another 4, 8, how many years, I don't think they really mind that much.
Completely. There's ultimately politics. There's no substitute for winning. So it doesn't matter how many Saudi-backed golf tournaments you've got. If you're a left-factioned MP, at the end of the day, you still want to hold on to your seat.
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, speaking of which, speaking of political leadership, we haven't spoken to you since there was a change with the Liberal Party, Ashton Hearn. As David said, struggled to get ahead above the parapet. How have you seen her since taking the reins from Vincent Tarzia? And do you see that is a pathway to at least saving a little bit of furniture for the Liberal Party?
I think so. I think she's really hit the ground running. Yes, she didn't get much coverage last week, but I would argue the only coverage the Premier got was about Riders Week. They had some pretty good announcements. I mean, they announced, $2,000 for reproductive health and IVF cycles for young South Australian families, which is a great policy. And it didn't barely rated a mention on any news service because it was all about Riders Week. So, yes, Ashton Hearn struggled last week, but the Premier also struggled to get his other messages across.
You can thank the former board of the Adelaide Festival for that, having made their decision and then all running to the hills, leaving him as, the rabbit in the spotlight.
Well, yeah, look, let's not get too much into it. I would also argue it's partly his own doing as well. I don't know if as the Premier of the state you need to be getting that much involved in the arts. And I said last week on air with Jono and Casey that 3 years ago he was asked to do something similar and he refused to do it because, quote, when a government gets involved, it takes you down the path of Putin's Russia. Same thing with Riders Week. Different author, Palestinian author still, but that was what he said 3 years ago. That's why he didn't get involved then.
I think the difference here, though, is we're talking about a woman who openly applauded the actions of October the 7th, actively moved to have a Jewish person uninvited from Riders Week, has demanded that people be made to feel unsafe, and all of that happening here at a taxpayer-funded festival 5 weeks after.
That's the point.
15 people have been shot at what was basically a picnic.
Yeah.
The world has changed.
Yeah.
Stace, great to have you back.
Thank you.
Looking
Good
forward
to
to
be
the show and looking forward to chatting to you each and every Monday morning after 7:30.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. I'll be on after 1 today. And this afternoon, can I just briefly say, we're going to have an Adelaide woman who sent off a letter to David Attenborough thinking nothing of it, and she got a reply.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So she's bringing the letter in. We'll be talking to her.
Beautiful.
And can I just say there's something in the letter that will make you feel pretty good about yourself because David Attenborough shows us we're all human and we all make mistakes.
Oh, that's excellent. I'm looking forward to it. Good on you, Stace. Great to have you
Thanks,
back.
Stace.
Terry in Henley Beach is listening and he said, David, what took you so long? Let's check traffic. This summer, the feeling starts with a test drive at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park.
Morning there at Clovelly Park, a breakdown. South Road near Dawes Road. Regency Park debris there too. The north-south motorway near the Green Junction Road underpass. Actually, day 2 of the tour down under today. A lot of activity around Norwood and Athelston. Getting busy South Road, Edwardstown with the Cameron McIntyre Road, Salisbury East. Getting ready for Clean Up Australia Day. Let's get our gloves on Sunday the 1st of March to get back to a place that we call home. Register now at cleanup.org.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
No difference in your entertaining area. Big difference. No difference. Big difference. Big difference home improvements. From outdoor blinds to decks, pergolas and verandas. Don't just make a difference, make a big difference. BigDifference.com.au. Woohoo!
A Piermount Hotel is your place to raise a glass, enjoy a great meal and settle in. Download Piermount's First Draft loyalty app to unlock perks, rewards, cheeky offers and member benefits across all 7 Piermount hotels, including the Albion. Plus, your first draft is on us. Enjoy a $10 bonus just for signing up. One app, endless rewards for locals who love their local. Visit piermount.com.au to explore our hotels and download First Draft today.
Living on a big block in an older home that's seen better days, or maybe you've just picked up a fixer-upper on a generous slice of land, Metro Homes SA, Adelaide's custom design builder, has a clever solution.
They'll knock down the old place and build 2 brand new homes on the block. You sell one, move where you want, and keep the other as an investment. It's downsizing and building your future all in one smart move.
And the best part is that Metro, they take care of the whole lot. They'll do the design, planning, council approvals, the works. And they make it easy because they've done it all before.
If you're ready to unlock the potential in your property without the stress, go Metro. Visit metrohomesa.com.au.
A smashed or damaged windscreen can happen in a heartbeat, but it does get worse if you don't go to your local Complete Windscreens to get it fixed. You could be waiting weeks, and look, that's not on. Complete Windscreens has windscreens and glass for all makes and models in stock right now with 15 technicians standing by to get you back on the road. You don't need to wait. Tell your insurance company you want Complete Windscreens on the job, completewindscreens.com.au. Look for the big red koala.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Harris Scarf Big Stock Take Sale is on now. Save 50% off cookware by Scanpan, 40% off vacuums by Russell Hobbs and Magivac, plus 40% off air fryers by Healthy Choice. Don't miss out. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf. Great brands, great prices.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 minutes to 8, developing story at Huntfield Heights where police and emergency services have responded to a shooting incident. Mitch Sariovsky is at the scene for 7 News. Mitch, good morning. What's happened?
Good morning, guys. Well, crime scene investigators and a large police presence are currently here on Lynn's Farm Road at Huntfield Heights following a shooting here. It happened about 6:40 this morning. Police were called to a home after 2 occupants there had been shot. So paramedics were at the scene treating their injuries. Thankfully, they're not believed to be life-threatening, but the police helicopter and police dogs have been around the scene, presumably looking for the suspect. So, so crime scene investigators are here. They're investigating the incident, and police are still yet to release any further information about what happened leading up to the incident.
So there's no word yet, Mitchell, about whether this was like a targeted attack or?
No word yet. I've spoken to a few residents this morning. They didn't hear anything, but obviously when you wake up to the news and hearing that there has been a shooting on your street, it's quite terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll watch for more developments on that and see them all in 7 News at 6 o'clock tonight. Mitchell Sariovsky reporting at Huntfield Heights. So the detail that we have that Mitch has just expanded on there, 6:40 this morning, so just over an hour ago, police were called to the home there on Linda's Farm Road to reports 2 occupants had been shot. So that's the official detail from police, plus obviously what Mitch has just given us. So we'll find out more over the course of the morning.
How's the algal bloom going, folks? There was some footage that emerged last week of one of the beaches, a little beach over on Yorks, that was just totally overrun with froth. I've got to say, though, spending most of the last 5 weeks down Aldinga Way, God's country, the beach has been absolutely beautiful. It's been windy, though. There's the hot days where you get these shocking northerlies. It's been choppy and unpleasant, but apart from the wind on those hotter, windier days, the rest of the time, the beach was absolutely sensational down there. It's clear as.
It's funny. I thought when I was away, I wonder how the beach is, the bloom's going. So late last week, I wonder if this has happened to anyone else yet who, like me, uses the Beach Safe app to see the reports on the state of things. I looked up Grange, which is our local beach, and it said no presence of abnormal foam, no discoloured water. And I went, oh, that's excellent. How good's that? So no bloom at the moment. I was looking at the weather report. I thought, geez, if I was home, I'd be going down to the beach. Beautiful. Then I looked at Henley. Henley had both abnormal foam and abnormal water.
Henley and Grange, aren't they like right next to each other?
That broke my brain a little bit. I don't know what to make of that. I wonder if anyone else has found incidents like that with using the app.
It sounds like that confluence of 2 rivers in Brazil where on one side the water's black and on the other side the water's blue.
Oh, that's what we were being led to believe. I don't quite understand how that happens, but it left me certainly confused.
Amazing.
Have people been getting to the beach? You've been giving it a wide berth. Let us know. 8223 0000 or text us on 0448 08 1395. 5AA News is coming up. Breaking at 8. You're going to want to stick around and hear next.
Hi, I'm Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. A new year brings new beginnings, and Adelaide's property market is already alive with opportunity. Dream homes are being listed, offers are being made, and those ready to act are already a step ahead. At Toop and Toop, we don't just open doors. We help you move towards what's next. So if 2026 is your year for change, we're here to help you take the next step with confidence. We've proudly been South Australia's trusted advisors in real estate since 1985. Visit toop.com.au today.
Every bathroom comes with a dark side. Mould. It sneaks into grout. But what if it had nothing to sneak into? What if you chose Mr. Wet Wool instead of tiles for your bathroom and wet areas? It costs less and there's no scrubbing grout. Because with Mr. Wet Wool, there is no grout. Just a smooth, stylish surface, easy to clean and stunning to look at. So why wouldn't you Mr. Wet Wool? MrWetWool.com.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early. Or late. Either way, the Olympic Industries sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA-engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industries sale. On now.
NRG Solar has seen thousands of dodgy solar and battery systems left behind by other companies. So when it comes to batteries, we know what lasts. That's why we only install trusted brands like Sungrow, Franklin, Tesla, SIG, BYD and Enphase. Each chosen for quality you can count on and all backed by local NRG support. Right now, you can save around 30% on a battery with government rebates. Get in touch with us at NRG Solar for zero power bills and total peace of mind. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
When you're gone, who gets the things you've worked hard all your life for? Like the family farm, the holiday home, or your cherished trailer sailor. If you don't plan now, it could be messy when you're gone. Donlan Lawyers specialise in wills and estate planning. From the simplest to the most complex, Donlan Lawyers will give effect to your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Today we're learning about Holistic Care SA. That is the name behind the Cafe Hoppability, which provides meaningful and rewarding jobs for keen workers who live with a disability. I am with their star barista, Michael. Hey, Michael, you've got a great job.
Thank you, Leith. I really enjoy working there. The food's amazing and the people are great too.
How does the cafe help you?
By being understanding with my disabilities and what I can and cannot do.
Your family must be so proud of you, being able to work independently.
Oh yeah, they're very proud of me. They are very excited because they hopefully get a discount whenever they come there.
What do I need to come and try?
I would probably say the carrot cake. Yes, I even brought some in for you as well.
Oh, bless. What is your rock star dish?
I would just say the wraps we have. If you want a wrap, we'll make it for you.
Michael, lovely to meet you. Thank you for coming in and thank you for the cake. If you are in or around Kent Town or you need a coffee or catering for your business, do something that's good for you and others. Support Cafe Hoppability, Fullerton Road, Kent Town. Thanks to Holistic Care SA, just up from the roundabout.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 30 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Start the new year right with Physio Extra Pilates and group exercise classes. Book at physioextra.com.
There's been a shooting at Huntfield Heights. Police were called to a home on Lindisfarne Road around 6:40 this morning, following reports 2 occupants had been shot. Their injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. It's not known whether it was a targeted attack. Mitch Sariovsky from 7 News is there.
I've spoken to a few residents this morning. They didn't hear anything, but obviously when you wake up to the news and hearing that there has been a shooting on your street, it's quite terrifying.
The state road toll for the year has hit double figures in less than 20 days. A 62-year-old man has been killed in a single-car rollover at Stockyard Plain. It happened around 8:30 last night. Worrying times for people on the Fleurieu Peninsula, with a fire near Mount Compass coming within metres of homes last night. Shane was worried about his house.
And we stepped out of the shops at Galway and looked towards our place and a gigantic plume of smoke. It's the worst thing you want to see. We were less than 10 k's away from the fire, but it was moving sort of west away from our place. So thankfully, not in the line of it.
The fire is still out of control. The cause is yet to be determined. Premier Peter Malinauskas denies the March state election will be a walkover. Latest opinion polls show the Liberals are facing a wipeout, but the Premier has told David and Will he's not taking anything for granted.
Every election is winnable. We've now got One Nation as the second biggest voting bloc around the country, according to Newspoll. Things happen. The rule that I've made everybody in the Labor Party live by. Success breeds complacency. Complacency leads to defeat. Only the paranoid survive. So we've got a healthy dose of paranoia. You don't want it to overwhelm you, but it's there and we take it seriously.
The Jewish community is urging all Australians to pause and reflect on Thursday during a national day of mourning for victims of the Bondi massacre. Landmarks will be illuminated and we're being asked to light a candle on doorsteps or windows. Executive Council of Australian Juries Alex Rifkin says society needs to use this time to focus on how we can improve.
We need to contemplate what we need to do as a country to not only rally behind the Jewish community and the victims, but regain the greatness of this nation. Restore the character of mateship and equality that we once had, which I fear has been lost.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Venus Williams has had a disappointing first-round exit in what's expected to be her last Australian Open. Craig Gabriel reports.
A 4-love final set lead to Venus Williams slipped through her racket strings as Olga Danilovic rallied to 4-all. Then, after a near 15-minute game, broke the 45-year-old to lead 5-4. She served it out. Venus failed to win a match in the 3 events she's played. It was her 22nd Australian Open and likely her last. Cam Norrie survived by the skin of his teeth, 6-4 in the 5th against Benjamin Bonzi. Alexander Zverev and Arina Sabalenka had wins.
Well, the Adelaide 36ers will recover today following a disappointing 108-89 point loss to the southeast Melbourne Phoenix. The Sixers have a tough weekend ahead, though, with games on the road against the New Zealand Breakers, followed by the Sydney Kings in Sydney. Well, the Women's Tour Down Under will continue today, beginning in Norwood before concluding in Athelston. The 126.5 kilometre stage is set to test riders with the torturous corkscrew. New Zealander Ali Wollaston currently holding the leader's ochre jersey. To cricket now, and the Sydney Sixers are into the Big Bash finals after winning a virtual elimination final by beating the Brisbane Heat by 5 wickets at the Gabba. The result lifts the Sixers to second and means they now play in a qualifying final against the Perth Scorchers tomorrow night. The winner heading straight to the Big Bash Grand Final. Meantime, New Zealand has beaten India by 41 runs in indoor to win their one-day series 2-1. Let's get to golf, and Spain's Nacho Elvira has won the Dubai Invitational overnight by a shot, holding off New Zealand's Daniel Hillier, while Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry finished a shot further back in third. Meantime, on the PGA Tour, American leader Davis Riley will begin his final round at the Sony Open in Hawaii with a 2-shot lead. Adam Scott is the best of the Aussies, currently 7 shots back in a tie for 29th. And in the English Premier League, Everton has recorded a 1-0 win away against Aston Villa, while Wolverhampton and Newcastle shared the points in a 0-0 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there at Clovelly Park, breakdown South Road near Dawes Road, Regency Park. Debris on the north-south motorway just near the Regency Road underpass. And she's day 2 of the tour down under today. A lot of activity around Norwood and Athelston. Camera, Trimmer Parade, Seaton. Express yourself with a custom number plate. There are 10 exciting new colour combinations. Create a plate that's as individual as you. Pick your plate at easyplates.sa.gov.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
With lots of CMAX trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
We're heading for a top of 30, mostly sunny. Cloud clearing tomorrow, 30, 28 on Wednesday, 27 on Thursday. Right now, it's 28 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia, always Adelaide. This is 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 minutes after 8, breaking 8 coming up in just a moment. Ashton Hearn's going to join us on 5AA Breakfast as well, ahead of the state election that is just now a matter of weeks away.
March 21.
And the owner and director of Toop and Toop, Bronte Manuel, on. We're going to talk real estate. Never in the history of doing this program of the course of the last, 10, now 11, to our 11th year now, has real estate been a bigger political issue.
Yeah, totally.
Genuinely, that's the price of housing, I think, is in large part why One Nation is now the second largest party in Australia.
So what year did we start broadcasting together? 2020?
Late September 2015.
2015.
Yes. Or October. Craig Munn's about to send an angry text, but it was 2015.
What was the median house price in Adelaide then?
I'll look that up. I bet it was...
I can remember
so
having a discussion with one of our real estate segments when the median price of a house in Plympton topped $1 million, and we were just like, Plympton, $1 million. And that's not to put down Plympton at all. Lovely part of the world, but Plympton, I mean, it's great, but it's not exactly, sky, is it? It was never considered one of the dress circle suburbs of Adelaide. It was just a normal, lovely slice of Adelaide suburbia.
The Real Estate Institute of South Australia put out a publication in July-September quarter, house prices. You want to hear some of the house prices in the median house price for the third quarter in 2015? Aberfoyle Park, $435,000. What do you reckon you're paying median house price in Aberfoyle Park these days? Let's look. Name me a suburb. What's a good bellwether suburb?
Okay. How about we go Karalta Park?
Karalta Park. I've got Cumberland Park.
We'll go Cumberland Park.
Cumberland Park was $713,000.
Just near Big W
in 2015. So the median price, you were looking at, I reckon it's probably almost doubled in that time.
Yeah.
I think it's doubled in the decade we've been doing it, buying it. And whose wages have doubled for doing the same job in that time?
Nobody's.
Literally nobody's. All right, it's time for break at 8. I'm going to look up more about that house pricing question. You got me thinking now. We'll ask Bronte Manuel about it shortly too, because we're looking forward to the return of our Toop and Toop real estate segment.
Well, 2026 Riders Week might be dead and buried, but there are calls now for a so-called guerrilla Writers Week. That is a sort of off-piste sort of rebel festival, giving riders a chance to still come to Adelaide in the coming weeks to apply their craft. Now, the Deputy Lord Mayor, Kieran Snape, who is also a Greens candidate at the upcoming state election, he's leading a push within the Adelaide City Council. I understand it's not one that has the blessing or endorsement of the Lord Mayor, who has her own, I think, more sensible views about this. But Kieran Snape thinks that this is something that the ratepayers should foot the bill for. We have Councillor Snape on the line now. Councillor, why should the public pay for this? If it's a guerrilla festival, doesn't that by definition suggest that it's kind of edgy and renegade and rebel? Why do you have to go cap in hand to the public to pay for it?
Hi, David. Hi, Will. Thanks for having me. I'm an independent, not a Green, but thanks all the same. Look, the big deal we've got right now is we've got loads of local writers. We've got writers who are coming over already who haven't yet cancelled their flights. And the loss of a Writers' Festival also means we have a loss of around 160 potential visitors into Adelaide, into our city. That's how many visitors came along last year. So there's an economic argument to be made that we need the City of Adelaide to step up to actually support this kind of constellation of smaller events so we can get an attractor happening to bring people into our city for an economic benefit.
How much money do you want?
Look, I'm open to that discussion. I've put a cap in my motion of around $250,000.
$250,000.
I'm happy for that to be less if that's what other councillors want. I just want to start a debate. I want to be clear as well, this isn't just handing over money, it's also in-kind support, for example, in the use of venue hire. The use of a big hall, the Great Hall and Town Hall, costs something in the realm of a couple of $1,000s.
But why should the riders be bailed out? I mean, no, they didn't have to pull out at the festival. Isn't it sort of, you make your bed, you lie in it? If they've missed out on income from taking part in some boycott, isn't that sort of a decision they made with their own agency, their own free will that comes at a financial cost to them?
I mean, certainly that's the case with a lot of these bigger authors. But for me and for the people I've been talking to, the real impact we're seeing right now is actually local authors. The Adelaide Writers Week was a really good opportunity for local grassroots authors, state-based authors to kind of get out there, talk about their works and get some support from the community. And they're the ones that are really suffering. So look, this is about local authors, this is about the local culture, and this is about supporting local businesses first and foremost.
When's the meeting and what do you think your chances are of getting the motion through?
The meeting will be tonight, and look, we'll have a robust discussion. I'm open to debate. I'm not trying to ram something through. We've got almost half a council on board so far. If we need to get a couple of other councils over the line by perhaps lowering my expectations, I'm certainly open to those discussions. I just want to get this conversation started and walk away by the end of tonight with something to offer our creative community and our local businesses who are missing out with the loss of this 160,000 visitors.
Deputy Lord Mayor Kieran Snape, thank you for joining us this morning for Breaking at 8.
Thank you.
Without wanting to labour the point, the Office of the Valuer General, David. The December quarter last year, the median house price in Adelaide, $925,000. When we first came on the air in the December quarter of 2015, $440,000.
Wow, it's more than doubled.
It's more than doubled. And that doesn't just, for our regional listeners too, so they have it, they audited, the Valuer General breaks into categories, the metropolitan and also non-metro but major towns. The median in 2015 was $260,000. It's now $520,000. So the median price for a regional town in South Australia is higher now than it was in metropolitan Adelaide 10 years ago.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's just extraordinary.
Unbelievable. We're joined in the studio now by the Leader of the Opposition, Ashton Hearn. Ms Hearn, good morning. Great to see you again and Happy New Year.
Good morning and Happy New Year to the two of you as well.
We had the Premier in earlier. We'll ask you the same question that we asked him, because obviously in a political sense and more so we think federally than at the state level. But this news poll today showing that, barely half the country now votes Labor and for the coalition. Huge surge in One Nation support. We had their state president on the show earlier saying that he thinks that Pauline Hanson's One Nation party will field candidates at every electorate at the March 21 state election. What do you see as the sort of local sort of ramifications from these figures?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously I've seen the poll and it is concerning, I think, for both major political parties. It is a wake-up call. And I think that we've got, Australia and indeed South Australia who are concerned that they've got politicians who might not be listening to their concerns. I mean, what we were just talking about before about affordability, housing prices, these are the types of things that people want to see addressed. And again, that's why we are laser focused on talking about affordability, not just when it comes to home ownership, but also the cost of doing business and things like that. And just having a back to basics approach for the Liberal Party, I hope that that'll get some of those One Nation supporters back to us, having a sense of a practical approach, if you like, on things that matter to people.
The last, 6 weeks since you got the job?
Yep,
it was
about
the
6.
week before we went on leave.
I'm less focused on that now. I'm more focused on the fact that it's only 62 days until the election, and there's a lot to do.
Well, there is a lot to do. How have you approached it? Because it's almost a ridiculous task being put in so late in the piece. How do you come up with the strategy to make yourself A, visible, and B, electable in terms of getting a series of messages out in such a short space of time?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, when I took over the job, there's no time to waste. There's no sugarcoating it. But I think just getting out and speaking with as many people as possible, saying yes to any opportunity that comes my way, really, and also just getting out some really practical policies that are going to assist people. I mean, last week we confirmed that we would keep the Women's and Children's Hospital as a health precinct. Now, that seems like that is a common sense move. Yesterday we were out announcing $1 billion for road maintenance that's going to make our roads safer in the city and in the country. So just, again, getting as many practical policies out there that I think speak to the real issues that people are facing at the moment.
So we're learning a bit about the policies, but in the process of learning about Ashton Hearn, the leader, your philosophy, your political philosophy is interesting to tease out. And that's why I think people have been so interested in this Adelaide Writers' Week discussion, because it's forced people to ask questions about freedom of speech and where the line is. Do you think the Premier pulled the right rein?
I do. And I was clear about this last week. The Premier's got a lot of flack about it, and clearly he's got some legal challenges now on his hands. But The Premier was asked his view and he gave it, and I would have done the same and my view would have been the same. And I think that's what people want in their political leaders as well. It's not just about just being, opposed to everything that another leader of a major political party does. If the Premier makes a good decision, I'm happy to give him a pat on the back. There's certainly, I hope that they'll be few and far between, because there's a number of basics and the important things that I think he's taken his eye off the ball on. But I'm always willing to say that someone's made a good call if I think it's in the interests of our state.
Well, that is a good quality for you to have as a politician, because so often politics is such a bloody-minded adversarial contest that no one can ever summons the wit or decency to credit their opponent with something good. So good on you for doing that.
Does that mean then, under a Hearn state government, is the objection to someone like Rand Abdul Fattah speaking at the Writers' Week about its proximity to Bondi, or would those sorts of views never be allowed to be expressed in South Australia and at a state government-backed event like this?
Yeah, I mean, as I've been kind of saying, I think you're not denied freedom of speech just because you're not given a taxpayer-funded microphone. I mean, there are a number of ways in which anyone can...
That's what the Guardian's there for.
Yeah. No comment. But look, there are a number of avenues in which people can express their views. So I think freedom of speech still certainly applies to this particular individual, but it doesn't extend to a taxpayer-funded event. And I do think that context is important, which is, again, why I back the Premier's view. That's not to say, though, that there does need to be a wholesale review of what's gone on here at the Adelaide Writers' Week. I mean, it's been an absolute shambles, to say the least. And we're talking about a Writers' Week festival. It's not a United Nations summit where we're talking about things that are going to impact the lives of people across Australia or the world. So I think there does need to be a review. And I think it's turned into a bit of a fiasco, unfortunately, particularly in the way that it was so humiliatingly cancelled at the last minute. This could have all been avoided had the board had a really frank discussion in October last year where concerns were first raised.
Can I ask you a question about the specifics of a policy with regard to the road funding?
Yep.
The extra $300 million, bringing up to $1 billion. Is that new money? Or is that from within existing expenditure?
Well, it's over the forward estimate, so that budget doesn't exist. So this government spends around $700, and we're saying
new money.
We'd spend $1 billion. So Labor have said that they're spending, well, at the moment they're spending $700 million. We're saying, well, in fact, your listeners would agree that's nowhere near enough. And if it was, we wouldn't be seeing the potholes and all of the shoulders deteriorating to the point where you fall off a cliff every time you go off the line markers. But we would spend $1 billion. And this is really in line with what the RAA are calling for. And I was a bit surprised because the government came out yesterday and got focused in the weeds and flapping their gums on the in the political weeds, instead of just saying, do you know what, this is a good policy because it's going to improve safety, it's going to improve productivity. And again, I feel like this is a difference between us and the current Labor government in that we're going to be really practical. This is going to make a big difference for people.
So extra $3 million on the roads then. The Women's and Children's Hospital staying as a health precinct. But anyone who's walked through it knows it's old.
Yep.
That's going to need a lot of money spent on it.
It will.
We're talking stamp duty relief. There's a lot of expenditure here.
Yep. On really key issues, though. It's expenditure on things that really matter to people. I think it's really common sense that we commit to keeping the women's and kids as a health precinct. I'm surprised that the government haven't said anything about it. All they've said is that, yes, they'll keep it in government hands. That's fine, but will it go to student accommodation? What are they actually going to do? What are their plans for it? We will keep it as a health precinct because we can't afford to lose a single bed. But yeah, we are spending some money, but it's on the important things. And again, that's the difference. And that's what I hope that's the choice really that we're presenting to your listeners and the voters come the next election, that will be a party that's focused on the important things. That's where our energy will go in.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but from memory, casting my mind back to 6 weeks ago or so, you will be losing less tax revenue, will you not? Because you have put a line through the former Vincent Tarzia policy of full abolition of stamp duty, haven't you?
We have. We've really gone a bit broader by saying we're going to have a tax review commission to look at the nooks and crannies really of the tax system in South Australia, kind of pull back the curtain and look at every cost, fee and charge. Really, that's about having that long-range review, which we're committed to, and long-range reform, I should say. But we're also mindful that people are hurting right now, which is why we've got some of the relief when it comes to stamp duty for first home buyers particularly, and why we're still committed to the payroll tax changes of just lifting that threshold for businesses to $2.1 million.
Ashton Hearn, Leader of the Opposition, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you up again soon.
A pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll check some of the texts in a moment, but first, traffic. This summer, the feeling starts with a test drive of the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park.
Morning there. Crash to look out for at Fairbairn, Port Road near Light Terrace, Clovelly Park, a breakdown, South Road near Dawes Road, and Regency Park sorting out that debris on the north-south motorway near the Green Junction Road underpass. It's day 2 of the Tour Down Under today. A lot of activity around Norwood and Athelston, and you'll find a camera Goddard Drive, Salisbury Park. Looking for a spacious SUV? Test drive the Geely Starray EMI Super Hybrid from $39,990 drive away, plus a $1,000 test drive bonus. Offer ends Jan 31. Conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Deliver more with Toyota, the world's #1 forklift brand. Choose from a great range including pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Toyota forklift. Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future. To build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
This week at IGA, there's bigger cheese, grated, slices or block, 500 grams, $9.50 each. Can't believable prices now at your local IGA. Offer ends January 20. Participating stores only. Excludes IGA, local grocer and Foodland.
When you're gone, who gets the things that tell your story? Like the classic car you've kept immaculate, the beach shack filled with family memories, or the record collection from your youth. If you don't plan now, it could get messy. Donlan Lawyers specialise in wills and estate planning. From the simplest to the most complex, Donlan Lawyers will give effect to your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
With Big Difference Home Improvements, you can make a big difference to your next family gathering, your Christmas feast, your next barbecue and get-together with mates, or maybe your next quiet time, just you, a nice book, your favourite beverage, outside and out of the weather.
Big Difference Home Improvements make all the difference when it comes to outdoor blinds, roller shutters, verandas, pergolas, carports, or a stunning deck.
Everything they do make a big difference, not just to your lifestyle, but to the value of your home, whether you're in reno mode or adding to your new home.
Ask the Big D team for a free measuring quote today on outdoor blinds, a carport, pergola, veranda, or a stunning new deck.
Don't just make a difference, make a big difference. Visit bigdifference.com.au for a free measuring quote, or pop into their new showroom at Hendon, right next to West Lakes Mall.
Know the news with Adelaide's 7 News. Don't miss Adelaide's leading news hour tonight at 6 o'clock.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Oh. 26 minutes after 8. Time to turn our attention to real estate and the weekend. Bronte Emanuel from Toop and Toop joins us on 5AA Breakfast. It's great to be chatting to you, Bronte, and good to be chatting with the Toop and Toop team again about real estate. And because there's two parts to this. One, it's such a talking point, what's happening property-wise, but also it's a news discussion now. As Ashton Hearn commented on it, One Nation are rising because people have concerns about affordability. 2026, our first chance to chat with you. It's never been more topical, your beat. What's happening in real estate?
Yeah, good morning, guys. I tell you what, real estate has always been, we would get onto any segment, any sort of
voice that we could have, and we'd talk about outstanding sales that we had, right? And approximately 18 months ago, when we talked about a new benchmark of, a suburb record, it went from good news to bad news. And I've never seen that in my 16-year career. So, and that is purely and simply because people are going, well, what about my children? What about my grandchildren? Now, affordability, there is three things in our property market. There's supply, there's demand, and there's affordability. And with Adelaide, typically it's the affordability that sends us into a plateau. So our market grows then plateaus. And then the affordability sends us into a plateau. So what I mean by that, you've got three people that want to pay $1 million for a property, but all three of them can only get $950 from the bank. The home sells for $950, not $1 million. Then what happens, it plateaus, runs at probably 2 to 3%, growth rate. So it takes a couple of years to get your stamp duty back. And then wage growth catches up. So affordability becomes better, and then the market kicks on again. So we're at the point in the cycle where we're the most unaffordable. So my projection is we might have another 8 to 10% of growth this year, and then we'll probably head back to those 2s and 3% for a few years, because affordability is probably going to start to send us into a plateau because, it just can't keep going at this rate.
How do you see the next 12 months panning out in terms of interest rates, Bronte? I saw very unhelpfully there was a poll done yesterday of Australia's 30 leading economists, and I think about 7 of them said rates would go up, 7 of them said rates would go down, and the other, whatever the remaining number is, said they weren't really that sure. It's hard to tell, isn't it?
It'll be interesting. When rates went down through the COVID period, it obviously stimulated the market, right? Definitely. Then when rates went back the other way and they went up, the first rate rise, second rate rise, third rate rise, people knew it was there, but it didn't have a big effect. But once it just kept going, that's when people got a little bit nervous. If it flips back, and then when they come down again, people got excited. So when they go up again, or if they go up again, I think the first couple probably, if it's 1 or 2, I don't think it'll have too much of an effect. If it goes beyond that, I think people will then be curious and could sit on their hands for a little bit.
Good stuff, Bronte. Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. We'll be catching up with Bronte every Monday. Thanks for that, mate.
Yeah, looking forward to that. 29 minutes after 8, couple of quick texts.
A lot of positive feedback about the way Ashton Hearn presents. Alfredo, in Dernancourt says, I think the leader of the Liberal Party is a breath of fresh air. Good on her. Chris in Golden Grove, who's not a Liberal voter, he says, I'm not normally a Liberal voter, but I think that with Ashton Hearn, they have made a good pick. And Ben says she speaks very well, runs rings around Vincent Tarzia. Karen says, finally, a Liberal leader who is well-spoken, astute and believable. Well done, Ashton. All positive messages there. See if she's got enough time to make the impact that they need.
A lot of talk about politics, real estate, the state of the economy. After the break, we're going to be talking about who can throw tuna far. Stick around.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 30 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Getting fit, your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at FIVEAA Extra. 6 locations.
2 people have been shot at Huntfield Heights, south of the city. Police were called to Lindisfarne Road just after 6:30 this morning. Mitch Sariovsky from 7 News is there.
Police were called to a home after 2 occupants there had been shot. So paramedics were at the scene treating their injuries. Thankfully, they're not believed to be life-threatening, but the police helicopter and police dogs have been around the scene, presumably looking for the suspect.
It's not clear at this stage whether it was a targeted attack. Fires are continuing to burn on the Fleurieu Peninsula near Mount Compass. Residents were forced to evacuate overnight as the blaze came within metres of homes, while a shearing shed is believed to have been destroyed. Watch and act warnings are in place, with locals told to prepare to leave. While a fire at Croydon Park yesterday destroyed 2 businesses on Regency Road. Jeff Swan from the MFS says investigations are continuing into how it started.
Fire investigators are going to be on scene today, so we don't have a really clear idea as to what actually caused this blaze. I wouldn't like to speculate, but the fire did start deep into the property, so it was certainly more towards the centre of the property than on the out edges.
Adelaide City councillors will hold a special meeting this afternoon looking at the possibility of staging an alternate Writers' Week. Meantime, the fallout continues from the original event after its cancellation. Opposition leader Ashton Hearn is standing by the Premier, who's been criticised for interfering.
You know, the Premier was asked his view and he gave it, and I would have done the same and my view would have been the same. And I think that's what people want in their political leaders as well. It's not just about just being, opposed to everything that another leader of a major political party does. If the Premier makes a good decision, I'm happy to give him a pat on the back.
Peter Malinauskas is hoping to move on from the Writers' Week fiasco, but is not backing down.
When you're in positions of leadership, things come out of the blue and you've got a responsibility to stand up and take a position, and I did that. I think I did the right thing. Lots of people think I did the wrong thing, but that's the way this job operates. And I just hope that most people have an appreciation that the view and the position I took, I did on a basis of some principles that I believe in.
MPs are gathering at Parliament House as they prepare to offer official condolences for the 15 people killed in the Bondi Beach terror attack. More from Michael Packey.
Survivors and families of those killed in the Bondi massacre will be in the national capital to hear the official condolence motion that will be delivered by the Prime Minister, opposition leader and other MPs. It'll be followed by a push to enhance hate laws and tighten gun regulations. The Coalition's Ted O'Brien says negotiations are still underway to reach consensus with the government on the hate speech legislation, which would ban extremist organisations and more easily revoke visas for people who spread hate.
We just have to keep squarely focused, not on the politics, but on what's in the national interest here.
Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles is urging the opposition to sort out its position and support the laws.
Frankly, the Coalition are all over the place.
The Greens won't back the revised hate speech legislation, but will support tighter restrictions on gun ownership.
Australia Post delivered a record number of parcels across November and December. 7.9 million households made an online purchase in those months, an increase of more than 300,000 on the year prior. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Australia's Talia Gibson wants to continue her aggressive style in her second round match at the Australian Open. Gibson was the only Aussie to progress on day one, defeating Anna Blinkova 6-1, 6-3. The 21-year-old says she won't be changing how she plays no matter who she's up against.
I know that I am a very aggressive player and it's what I do best on the court. So I think no matter who I play, I'm always trying to play that way for sure.
Fellow Aussie Adam Walton was beaten by world number one Carlos Alcaraz. Alex de Minaur, Alexi Poprin and Storm Hunter all start their campaigns today. Well, the Adelaide 36ers have gone down to the southeast Melbourne Phoenix by 19 points in their NBL clash in Perth as the Hoops Fest wrapped up. The Sixers are still 2 games clear at the top of the table, but they've got a difficult road trip on Friday night against New Zealand before playing against the Kings in Sydney on Sunday. Well, the Sydney Sixers are into the Big Bash finals after securing a 5-wicket win against the Brisbane Heat. The result means the Sixers jump up to second and will now face the Perth Scorchers for a spot in the final tomorrow night, while the Heat missed out. The Adelaide Strikers missed the finals and they finished back in 6th spot. To cycling, New Zealander Ali Wollaston has claimed back-to-back stage wins to retain the leader's ochre jersey heading into the final stage of today's Tour Down Under. The men's event will begin tomorrow night with a street circuit around the city. Australians Dane Henry and Isla Huparts have been crowned World Junior Surfing Champions in the Philippines, and snowboard cross athlete Adam Lambert has secured the first World Cup victory of his career in China. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Well, the bingos look out for today. One at Salisbury East, the Grove Way near Bridge Road. Another one at Clovelly Park, South Road near Dawes Road. Day 2 of the tour down under today. So road closes around Nord and Athelston, and pretty slow at the moment, South Road at Glandore. Camera, Sturton Road, Edinburgh. Traffic might slow you down, but hearing loss doesn't have to. At Hearing Australia, you'll get expert advice on the right device at a fair price. Book today at your local Adelaide Centre. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
With lots of CMAX trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
Mostly sunny today with a top of 30, cloud clearing tomorrow and 30, Wednesday mostly sunny 28 and Thursday 27. Right now it's 29 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Build like a brick house. Basic Trailers make quality trailers of all sizes here in Adelaide. Made with Australian steel, you get 12 months warranty and factory direct pricing across SA. Visit basictrailers.com.au. Basic Trailers. Basically better.
If your solar system's been up there for 10 or 15 years, it's probably more than paid for itself. But the truth is, it's not performing like it used to. Now's the perfect time to upgrade with NRG Solar. Today's panels are twice as efficient at a fraction of the cost, and most families see payback in just a few years. Solar and battery rebates make solar more affordable than ever. Get in touch with us at NRG Solar for zero power bills and total peace of mind. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At FIVEAA Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, FIVEAA Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for FIVEAA Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
Now, it's fair to say that we all have clutter at home and in the workplace.
Thankfully, clutter and mess is no match for Sharman Shelving. Now, imagine a space where everything has its place and is easy to access. Well, Sharman Shelving makes life so much easier.
And they're great people. Bill, George or Christine, they'll come to your home, your office, your workshop or your shed to measure up, then design, deliver and assemble the perfect storage solution in a great range of colours to suit any decor.
Everyone needs a little Sharman in their life. Call in 412 North East Road, Windsor Gardens and take a look. In fact, their showroom and office is now next door in the big white building, so make sure you enter via Albert Street. You can jump online as well at sharmanshelving.com.au or take a look on Facebook.
Some swear jars collect coins, but at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, their swear jar collects promises.
Hi, I'm Amy. I hope you can hear me smiling because that's how I answer the phone. I'm your first contact at Buy Urban and I swear to help you any way I can.
I'm Laura. I swear to help bring your thoughts and design ideas to life, just how you envisioned them, or better.
For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Nuriutpa and Clare has always been well worth a trip, even more so with their 42nd birthday sale. Steinborner has purchased over 400 certified vehicles, SUVs and 4x4s, all with free roadside assist, and ripped $500,000 off normal prices across the range, with $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Plus, deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford, Mitsubishi, Jack and Mazda. Visit steinborner.com.au.
The cost of living is out of control.
But Family First will take the pressure off. They'll cut migration, approve more housing, cut family taxes and slow the race to renewables.
Vote 1 Family First to take the pressure off the cost of living.
Authorised by Lyle Shelton, Family First Party, Norwood.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Twenty minutes to 9. Tunarama made its triumphant return after a 2-year hiatus where they need to get some of the financials sorted out and so forth. We're going to be chatting with the male winner and the female winner before 9 o'clock this morning.
I didn't know that the tuna that is tossed these days, because we're in a more enlightened era, it's not a real tuna.
No.
It's a wooden facsimile of a tuna.
It's a fake tuna.
A fake tuna, mock tuna. The tuna Port Lincoln reject.
You can't just go around throwing tunas these days.
No, it's like one of those things.
You've always said that.
Like bullfighting. Apparently that's
well,
frowned
bullfighting
upon.
still happens.
Only not in as many places as you'd think.
Doesn't it?
It's been banned in most of Spain. Southern Spain hangs on to it.
Do you reckon there are a couple of people at bullfighting events in Spain that sit there going, can you believe they throw fish in South Australia?
Yeah, that's right.
Inhumane.
That's right.
Big change and a big development for South Australia, a huge part of our economy as well. The new Adelaide University has taking its first intake of students. This will be the first group this year that start and finish their degree under the new banner of the new merged super university here in South Australia. The new Vice-Chancellor, Professor Nicola Phillips, joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Vice-Chancellor, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on for the first time.
No, welcome to the show, Professor Phillips. And
thank you.
Also, welcome to the role. What an amazing gig. What an honour. It's my alma mater, Adelaide Uni, and a lot of our listeners went there and also to Uni SA too. Putting the two of them together, how big a job's that been?
Oh, it's been absolutely monumental, and I couldn't be more pleased to be here. It really is an honour, an absolutely monumental effort by so many thousands of people in our university. As you know, it's been going on for some time. We finally opened our doors just last week, a couple of weeks ago, and we've got a lot of work still ahead of us, but we're cautiously really pleased with the way that things are going.
What's going to be the big advantage? Is it the ability to attract more research funding on account of the sort of, I guess, the economies of scale that the uni's got? Is it making the uni more of a magnet for international students? What are the benefits for SA?
Yeah, yes, it's all of those things. Scale really matters in our system. We aspire to be a university that is up there with the very best in not just in Australia but in the world. And so in order to be that, we need the scale in order to really invest in the work of the university, student experience, the staff experience, the research that we do, but also things that matter for South Australia. So it's that capacity for investment in our work that is really enhanced by the two universities coming together. It's about the attraction of the very best talent from around the world, that's students and staff, and of course the existence of a powerhouse university like we have now is really attractive to business and industry. It's about job creation, it's about the expansion of opportunity, and all of those things are now new opportunities are opened up given the kind of university that has been built.
By definition, a merger means you're bigger, and it sounds like what you're describing is an even bigger footprint, a bigger university. Do you have growth goals or a vision of where you'd like to see the university go over the course of the next 10, 20 or so years? I mean, how much bigger in terms of student body and so forth would you like to see it get?
Yes, you'll understand obviously that I'm new in the job, and one of the first things that I want to do is to look really carefully at that so that we can lay out a plan for the next 5 or 10 years. There isn't, as it stands, an intention to just keep growing. We need to take a really clear-eyed view on what our desired steady state would be. Largely was set out in the original vision for the university, and the challenge, of course, is to make sure, and the thing that's right to the fore of my mind is to make sure that with the new scale that we have as a university now, we don't compromise on the quality, and particularly in relation to the quality of the student experience, but also the staff experience and the cohesion and the coherence of the university. So to take a really, really careful look at where we want to be over the next 5 or 10 years' time with those considerations in mind is one of the earliest priorities.
When you talk about the student experience, Professor Phillips, can I ask you, as the parent of a daughter who's just graduated from Adelaide Uni, it troubled me seeing the extent to which her uni experience seemed to involve being in her room watching Zoom lectures online, casting my mind back to the 90s when I was there, spending 5 years doing my 3-year arts degree, mainly because I was being distracted by all of the excellent stuff happening on campus, but being really energised by seeing great lecturers, people like Professor Austin Goff and Paul Nursey-Bray, amazing lecturers. They would pack out the Napier building. Sometimes people who weren't even enrolled in some of their subjects would come along because their lectures were so famous. Has it become, through digitisation, through the need to keep such a close eye on the books, has the uni experience died to some degree?
Yes, many of us had the kind of experience that you describe, and it's something that's incredibly precious about university life. This isn't a transactional relationship. This is about a really critical moment for so many young people in their personal development and in their education. And it's really, really important that we hang on to that. The world has changed around us. The students are wanting more and more flexibility, and technology allows us to do that. And one of the key principles for the new university is to try to open up opportunity to students from all kinds of backgrounds and in all kinds of circumstances. But it's really important to me that in doing that, we don't compromise the experience that many of our students will want to have of campus life, of university life, in the way that you describe it. We need to be getting that balance right, and again, that's one of the things that's right at the front of my mind.
Professor Nicola Phillips, welcome to the role and all the very best of luck in it. The new Vice-Chancellor of what is now known as Adelaide University. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed.
It's an interesting point you make about the online component and the video conferencing we've seen in workplaces and so forth at the moment. I've got a prediction for you when it comes to technology. Have you seen the proliferation of these face-changing? You can sit in your computer and look into the video camera, and I could be watching it, except it's not you, it's your Tom Cruise. Right, and it's you can't tell it's not him, right?
This could be a great benefit for the live stream.
I think there's a real application there. But these things now are so good, and they are almost at the point where you cannot tell it's not the actual person. There is going to be zero trust in any transmission of something purely digitally between two people. If you want to know you're chatting to the person, what they're like, what they look like, what they sound like, what they speak like, the only currency is going to be face-to-face.
Yeah.
I actually have hope that some of these more nefarious technologies that are being developed are going to kill off some of the more tedious and annoying parts of this digital revolution.
When technology has become so smart as to have lost its own credibility.
Completely. And I think you can do a job interview now over video. I bet lots of businesses do that. Well, you're not going to be able to do that because you don't know the person you're talking to or seeing looks or sounds or is anything like that.
It could be AI generated.
And that's a very maybe it's an oversimplistic version
like a
of
Frank
this.
Pangello press release.
Exactly right.
As a joke, Frank, just want to see if you're listening.
Frank sent out a very funny Christmas card to everyone, which he referenced his misgivings with artificial intelligence. Anyway, that's my hopeful AI take for 2026.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, we're going to take a break. Let's check traffic, and then we'll talk about the very lo-fi action of throwing tuna. The traffic, of course, brought to us by the wonderful Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Summerton Park. With this summer, the feeling starts with a test drive.
A couple of bingos to look out for this morning. One at Salisbury East, the Grove Way near Bridge Road. Another one at Clovelly Park, South Road near Dawes Road. Actually, day two of the tour down under today. So look out for road closures and activity around Norwood and Athelston. Quite busy South Road at Karata Park with the camera Wattle Street, Malvern. Quitting vaping can be hard, but possible with support on your side. Download the new My Quit Buddy app or search Give Up for Good. This message is brought to you by the Australian Government, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Oh, geez, it's hot in here. Can someone pass the Morford air? Oh, that's better.
When the temperature is too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air, Adelaide's own homegrown family air conditioning company. Morford Air has kept South Australians perfectly comfortable for over 50 years. So when it's too hot or cold to bear, you can always reach for the Morford Air. Look for the bright blue building at 602 Marion Road or visit morfordair.com.au.
Morford.
On the Cow IQ test, Fluorio milk cows come in at around 100, pretty much the national average. But when it comes to the milk our SA cows produce, it's unmatched. You don't need to be a cow Einstein to produce some of the best milk in the country. You do need the perfect grazing conditions, and the milk needs to be bottled on site and on shop shelves within hours. It doesn't get any fresher, any better, or any more SA than Fluorio Milk Company.
Gliderol Garage Doors have been manufacturing and installing garage doors direct to South Australians for over 50 years. So, if the new year's got you thinking about freshening up your home, order a new Gliderol Garage Door with operator before the end of February and the operator is free. Safety, security and style. Built to last and made right here. Call 1300 799 177 for a free measure and quote, or visit gliderol.com.au. Retail customers only. T's and C's apply.
It's not easy making amazing tasting food for celiacs. Danny and Christy from Gramazio Foods, they know how to do it better than anyone, and that's why they've spent many years working hard developing their Italian family recipes to the point where they could be celiac certified.
This is great. Gramazio Foods sells its gluten-free produce online and from their shops at Burnside Village and the Grove Village at Golden Grove. Now, a lot of places might sell some gluten-free products, but their stores are totally gluten-free zones. It's safe, it tastes great, and Danny and Christy guarantee it. In fact, they challenge anyone to try their food. You don't need to be gluten intolerant to enjoy sensational flavours.
So try Gramazio Foods, SA's own celiac certified food stores, Burnside Village, the Grove Village at Golden Grove, and online at gramaziofoods.com.au. Changing the perception of gluten-free foods.
Hey, it's Lauren here from Adelaide. Wouldn't you love a reward just for shopping at your local Star Discount chemist? Become a Superstar Rewards member to earn points, receive birthday vouchers and more. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help? Earn and redeem points on eligible purchases. Visit website for full terms and conditions.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Eight minutes to 9, the triumphant return on the weekend of the Tunarama Festival. 20,000 people went to Port Lincoln to see who could throw tuna the furthest. And I tell you what a coup this morning. We have got both the women's tuna toss winner and the men's tuna toss winner on the program. Your daughter went to this on the weekend.
She sent me videos of it while it was happening. She was having the time of her life because one of her best mates has moved there for work, and Soph went over for the week and had an absolute ball.
Well, let's introduce FIVEAA Mackie, the women's toss winner to the program. Good morning to you.
Morning, Dave and Will.
And Logo Taligi, good morning to you, the male winner of the tuna toss.
Good morning. How are you going?
We're good, guys. And look, congratulations to both of you. We'll start with you, if we can, Althea. So how did you get into tossing tuna? It's such a niche talent.
Yes, I am a master's athlete, so that's basically athletics for older people, and I do hammer throwing. So you might have seen some different techniques in the tuna toss, but the one technique that tends to work quite well is the hammer throw technique. If you apply that to the tuna, you tend to do quite well. So I had some mates who did the tuna toss probably a decade ago, and they into athletics as well, and they told me about the event, and I think in 2017 I gave it my first go.
How heavy is it? And Althea, is it the same for you as it is you, Logo?
Yeah, it's the same weight, 10 kilos.
10 kilos?
10 kilos.
So how far did you throw yours?
I threw mine 24 metres, so...
24 metres?
That was enough to get me the win.
How about you, Althea? How far did you throw your tuna?
Only like 11.5 metres.
Only?
Only.
We're watching video on the Facebook and YouTube live stream, and the vast majority of normal, non-athletic people look like they barely threw it a metre. It's obviously pretty heavy. Can I ask you, with your hammer throw technique, Althea, do you have to adjust it much when it comes to tossing the tuna? Because it's pretty unwieldy compared to the refined hammer.
Yes and no. What is a bit tricky with a tuna toss is you throw on a grassy surface. So it's not concrete, as is the case with athletics. And also it slopes downwards. So you would have seen a lot of people fall over. And I think it's because of the grassy surface and the downward slope.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask. How do you keep your balance? Because when you get that full sort of spin going, you're going quite fast in a circle. I reckon if I did that, I'd just end up flat on my back.
Oh, I would say that's just practice. That's just over time. I've been throwing the hammer probably for about 15 years now. So you just get used to spinning around and not falling over, I guess.
And is it set up? I presume it's all, yeah, there's nets, aren't there? Because you wouldn't want to, throw a wooden tuna, plastic tuna into the crowd.
Yeah, there were, I think, several sets of nets going, actually. The immediate circle, the sector, and then the outer sector as well to protect the spectators. Because, yes, the fish can go quite haywire with the weird techniques.
So, Logo, 24 metres, as soon as it left the hand, did you go, when you're throwing a big tuna, do you just know it's a good one?
Oh, you know it's a good one when it leaves the hand, that's for sure. I remember I threw it, before I threw it, I got the clap going, so I got the crowd involved.
Yeah.
Started the throw, and as soon as I started it, I knew it was going to go pretty far, so, ended up getting the 24 metres and winning by a fair bit.
Well, I was going to ask you, what was second, do you know?
Oh, I think it was just 19 metres. So.
Oh, wow.
It's not a game, it's a shame.
Total domination.
Like an amazing throw, don't get me wrong, but yeah.
No, mate, the footage of you, we've got it up now.
Yeah, we're just watching it.
I mentioned before, my daughter sent me the video yesterday, and when you were doing the sort of slow hand clap like they do at the soccer and getting everybody revved up, the crowd, because there were about 20,000 people there. Like must have been a great atmosphere.
Oh, the crowd was amazing. I think that was a big reason why I was able to do it. The crowd support was it was incredible. But the people over there are just amazing as well. So,
had you guys been to Port Lincoln before?
I have when I was younger. I have a fair bit of family over there, so that's how I found out about it. I saw it in a brochure, and I was like, "Oh, I want to do that when I'm older." So I got older, and then got to chuck a tuna.
How about you, Althea? Was it your first time in Port Lincoln?
No, I've actually done the tuna toss 5 times now, and I've won 4 of the 5 times now. So.
You're like the Mackay diva of tuna tossing. Well, look, well done to you both, and good on you for getting over to Lincoln, because it's a great event, great part of South Australia, and we know that the festival stopped for a while, so it's great that it's back up and running again. Good on the council for doing it. It's exactly the sort of thing councils should be doing. Althea Mackey and Logo Taligi, the joint winners of the women's and men's tuna toss. What's the furthest you've ever thrown a fish, Will? What about that one that had a go at you in Mauritius or whatever?
I didn't get a hold of it. I ran away.
What was it called? The Titan triggerfish?
I swam away screaming, thinking I'd been eaten by a shark. It was not the manliest or proudest moment of my life how I handled that situation.
Where did it get you again?
Just on the Achilles.
On the eye on the ankle. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it mixed up with the twister. The ride at the show.
We don't talk about that. What was that one called again? I can't even think about that. That cage that used to spin around.
The zipper.
Oh, I just felt it. Just tensed up.
Amazing that. It's amazing that little Rosie ever came into this world after what happened on the zipper.
I should be studied.
That's right. Send yourself to the CSIRO.
Brisbane Olympics. You get to pick demonstration sports. Tuna toss.
100%.
Simple, isn't it?
I mean, if they can have skateboarding. And breakdancing.
I'd rather see someone throw a tuna, frankly.
Is breakdancing in a minute again?
I don't think so.
It should be.
You reckon?
So that Ray Gunn can do it. They should get her as part of the opening ceremony.
Now you're talking.
I reckon they will. Tuna.
All right, let's have a look at Fuel Watch.
Tuna fish.
Paddy's already getting tired with us, and it's their first day back.
Shut up.
It's better to be a member with RAA Road Service. The cheap spots are terrific today, all under $1.50. The U-Go at West Hindmarsh, $1.47.9. The cheapest is the Solo Clearview, $1.47.5. The Ampol North Adelaide, $1.49.9. Diesel's cheap too. The U-Go West Hindmarsh at $1.62.7.
Great to be back, folks. Thank you for listening. We're looking forward to 2026 after a rotten end to 2025. This year has to be a better year, and we're sure that it will be.
Stick around. Graham Goodings is back next, and we'll be back tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock.